place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome into Back Nine's our location today. Let me tell you this. This has been such an outstanding event. This is our first annual fan golf outing at the Back Nine. And if you've never been to the Back Nine, you've got to get here right now. It's kind of interesting, too, because we're up on level 3, and the entire IU football team is down on level 2. This place is absolutely crammed right now, which is awesome. It's funny, Jeff Kegg runs communications down in Bloomington for the Hoosier football team, and I said, Kegger, man, are you downstairs or what? Because we got stuff flowing up here. And unfortunately for Kegger, I think Kegger was on his way back to Monroe County and wasn't here. But, no, seriously, this is great for so many different reasons, of which I will explain. Thank you guys for coming. Great having you out, too. Thank you very much. It's our friends from Franciscan Health Heart Center, right? So that's what we're doing that. And obviously Jake Query over these airwaves has talked about his situation of a couple of years ago. It's interesting. So that's what we're doing this for, taking donations, doing the silent auction right now, and this entire event for Franciscan Health Heart Center. True story. So I go over a little bit earlier today, and I said, hey, you know what, I'm here. Go ahead and take my blood pressure. And guess what? Your good friend's blood pressure extremely high today. So I'm in the right spot for it. And I guess what I'm trying to tell you is these are things that are so incredibly important. And I know Jake's story of the past has gotten to you as well. And hopefully mine will too. I mean, I'm newly inspired now to try to get something done with it because I had no idea. I mean, I play basketball all the time, right? I mean, I feel good. I'm sure that I could lose weight, but I'm feeling like I'm at a spot where I really don't want to. I just kind of want to be me. So, but get it checked, and I'll give you information as we move along with Franciscan Health Heart Center on how you can get it checked. I mean, think about me. I'm messing around. Seriously, I am drinking a Bloody Mary. Hey, come on over and get this I don't know if I want to do that. I did, right? And, yeah, it's high. It's high right there. We're going to do something about it. I feel really good about that. So you want to come by, maybe swing the clubs a little bit, you certainly can here. Again, third level of Back Nine's our location is and I'll give you a lot of what we're bidding on for the silent auction. And I want to thank a lot of people out here today as well, coming up with the Back Nine and our first annual fan golf outing. This has been even better. Thank you guys for coming than I thought it was going to be. This has been absolutely outstanding. Really has. Hey, our new morning co-host, Andy Sweeney, is going to join me coming up in just a couple of minutes, too. Bob Lovell, bottom of the hour. It is week number 1, night number 1, if you will, of high school football. We'll talk to Bob about that. I think Mike Wells is going to join us. I was going to say Mike Chappell, but yeah, Mike Chappell's going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour. Mike Wells in the 4 o'clock hour. We are loaded and ready to go this afternoon. Again, live from the Back Nine, really near Morris on the near southwest side, just on the other side of I-70 is our side right here. But joining me live, he's one of the sponsors and certainly is a huge sponsor of mine for the past, how many years are we talking, 9?
Oh,
is it 9?
Yeah, it's got to be 9 years, I think.
Yeah, I think it is 9 years.
Yeah.
I mention his name all the time, to which hopefully he gets a lot of feedback.
We do.
Darren Andrews of WeGrowHairIndy.com, 888-724-5129, WeGrowHairIndy.com. They are hugely a part of this golf outing today at the Back Nine. First, thank you very much, as always, for stepping up and being a part of this for great causes.
Thank you. Yeah, it's our pleasure. It's been a great relationship, obviously, over a long period of time
9
now.
years. That's incredible.
Can you believe that?
Well, you know how bald I'd be right now?
Same as me. If I
think about that all the time. And I've said this to you before. One of the great things about it, our relationship is, and I love it, now it's like one of the first things anybody ever asks.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, hey, does that really work?
Yeah.
You know, and I say, hey, look, I mean, it really does. If I wanted to do something with this, even more than I have right now, I could do it.
Right.
I mean, any style I used to have. I mean, really it does. It turns back the clock. We live in a world now and an era in which you really want to turn back the clock, and this does it.
Right. Yeah, and everyone wants to look and feel their best, right?
Yeah.
And the technology today, of course, it's permanent, it's natural. The days of the old cornrows and plugs not looking natural are gone. And it's not just hair transplants, we do everything, but whether it's the multi-unit hair grafting, hair transplant that you and I both had done, or the artist robotic FUE procedures, we do everything, of course, at the Pyramids. And as you know, a couple of years ago, we expanded our clinic and we've got a new facility, so very proud of that.
A little bit about that. What people certainly have heard me talk about it, but I want you to expand a little bit on what else is going on over there that sometimes I may not get to.
Yeah, so obviously we don't just do hair transplants. You and I both had hair transplants where you take the genetically permanent hair from the back and move it to the top. But some guys just need hair loss prevention. So, starting early with hair loss is now something we can do so far as controlling it, thickening it, reinforcing it, using growth factors, so using your own plasma to help control hair loss. So it's really a global approach, really a one-stop shop relative to hair restoration.
Yeah, you and I talked about this the other day over text, that some people out there will try to fool you and say, hey, this is what we have. Right. And people will go to a lot of links, right? To maybe buy into this. But don't be fooled. There's some fraudulent stuff out there. We Grow Hair in Indy is the legit one.
Yeah, we've been at it for 18 years, and hair restoration is a very specialist field. And a lot of places get into it and think that it's easy and they can do it.
Yep.
And it's not just about getting a hair transplant. It's about that whole global approach. Hair restoration is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
So we're in it for the long run. We've been at it for 18 years. Our physicians, our medical teams, we're experienced. It's what we do. So it's a whole process, and experience is very important in a medical procedure like this.
It's 888-724-5129, WeGrowHairIndy.com. The guy that really is in charge of it all is Darren Andrews right here. What have we seen? And I mentioned this in the past 9 years. The technology and the innovations where it once was to where it is right now. Is it night and day compared to what it was?
Hugely different. The first thing, of course, it looks natural.
Yeah.
It's permanent. We can guarantee the hair to grow. The techniques have become more advanced with regards to the ability to transplant a lot more hair in a single procedure. So you don't really, if you're doing a hair transplant, you want to make the best use of the hair you've got on the back and the sides, which is the donor hair. And best use of that is transplanting as much as you can in a single procedure. And sort of a market advantage we've always had is the multi-unit hair grafting technology. What I had done, a single transplant. And we can transplant thousands and thousands of hairs in a single procedure. So the ability to not go through multiple procedures gives you better value, less downtime. And the plasma treatment we talked about, so those preventative things have come a huge way.
Right. I mean, you get the platelet-rich plasma treatments now, and that helps sustain it longer term. You do that maybe annually, and it sustains it longer term.
You're correct, yeah. And transplants are permanent, but your non-transplanted hair is still at risk of future loss. So the plasma is one of our more popular options with regards to maintaining that hair that's not transplanted. So then you're taking a global approach, putting back what you've lost with the transplant, keeping what you've got with the platelet-rich plasma.
That's Darren Andrews right here. He's a part of the fan golf outing, the first ever here at Back 9 with WeGrowHairIndy.com. That's 888-724-5129. The most commonly asked question when somebody takes my advice and gives you a call.
Does it look natural? Does it work?
Yeah.
Is it a scam? Is it real? I did 2 consultations today. Both guys said, does it actually really work?
Yeah.
Does it look natural? And I obviously pointed to my head.
That's it, yeah.
Went to your VIP page today,
Heck
actually.
Yeah, you do.
I
My
did.
VIP page and check it out.
Yeah.
And that was very important. I mean, that was very important to me. And certainly I like having fun with it and such, but it's very important to make sure that it does look natural. And, what you guys do, let's simply put, nobody else can.
Right. Yeah, we're lucky. We've got the multi-unit hair graft and the artist robotic FUE, one of 2 places in the entire country to offer those 2 hair transplant technologies. Yeah. So really proud of that. And I think we've got another VIP we're going to be announcing here in the next few weeks.
We're going to be demoing with the Colts.
Yep.
I know Dave First is a part of it right now.
Yep.
Who else?
Barry Krause.
Barry Krause.
Mr. Krause.
The former linebacker.
And then I'm not going to throw a name out there yet, but someone that you know pretty well here in the next couple of weeks, there's going to be a little announcement coming out.
I think I know who you're talking about right here.
So really excited about that one.
That is awesome. Well done.
Yeah, and some of the listeners are going to know. So here in the next week or 2, we'll be throwing that out there. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Rajiv Ram, the tennis player.
Rajiv Ram, the tennis player.
Been a part of it too.
Yep.
So, man,
Yep.
It is great the way that you built your brand around here too.
Yeah.
And, I give out 888-724-5129 all the time. How else can others get a hold of you if they're listening to us right now?
Yeah, the website, WeGrowHairIndy.com. Of course, there's a lot of content on there, videos, pictures. That's a great avenue to get in touch with us through there. And, of course, as you mentioned, and then there's the local phone number, 317-522-2995, that you can reach us directly at the clinic at the Pyramids.
People love my billboards with my grill up
good,
there,
isn't it?
too.
Yep.
I look really good.
I mean, look at that face.
Look at those handsome and chiseled features.
Every time I drive past it, I'm like, look at that guy.
I'm driving on 465 Northwest Side off of Michigan Road, and I'm going, wow. I mean, you couldn't get more handsome right here than this.
It's just incredible.
I hope it doesn't cause accidents up there, does it?
Your family must be like, oh, look at that.
No, man. My daughter goes, like if she's riding with teammates or something to go play Westfield, she goes, oh, my gosh.
She's used to it now.
Yeah, she's used to it. 888-724-5129.
Yes, sir.
WeGrowHairIndy.com.
You got it.
Ask for Darren Andrews. He'll tell you all about it. And a new client announcement is coming up very soon.
Very soon.
Somebody we know very, very well.
Very well.
Is being added to the rotation right there. Buddy, thanks. 9 years has been awesome, buddy. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Let's keep on keeping on.
Really
How about
do.
that?
It's awesome. Thank you.
It's Darren Andrews, and thank you for being a part of this, too.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
You going to hang around for a while?
I'm going to hang around and have a beer.
Yeah, you better do that, too.
There you go.
It's Darren Andrews right there. Again, WeGrowHair80.com. That's 888-724-5129. Thank you, my brother.
Thanks, man.
This is awesome. I love when we all come together for this right now, and that's what we're doing with Franciscan Health Heart Center and our fan golf outing. This is the first ever here at the Back Nine, and this has been absolutely awesome. Where's Sweeney? Andy, come on over, brother. Come on over here. Thanks again, Darren. Appreciate you. All right, there's a new morning show. A new morning show that's got a mixture of the old morning show that's coming up on Monday. Again, our friend Jake Query, who is also here, moves from the morning to the midday, from noon until 3. So you're going to get some hellaciously awesome crosstalk between me and Jake, I'm assuming, every day. And to be a part of the new morning show, it's the morning wake-up call with Kevin and Andy. I wanted to call it the morning wood with Swebo. No, it was the morning wood with Swebo. Did you see the picture yesterday that somebody developed, the Photoshop picture?
Oh, Lord heavens,
the
no.
The morning wood with Swebo.
Hey.
See,
it's got name recognition.
Why did David Wood not ask me about that? The morning wood, and it's spelled W-O-U-L-D. The morning wood.
Okay, I saw that tweet, but I thought the guy made a mistake. I thought he made a mistake.
With Swebo.
Okay, yeah.
Because I kind of like that. It's better than Boney.
I also heard your 15-second joke yesterday when I was driving around. I heard you. Yeah, I heard you. I know the Rick Pitino.
15 seconds of Louisville.
Yeah,
yes.
the 15 seconds of Louisville, the Rick Pitino stuff. I heard that at 4 o'clock.
You didn't have blank to talk about in Louisville, did you? Unless the college basketball season was going on. What'd you practice on?
Well, there's an 18-year-old recruit somewhere doing something. Man, it's great to be on with you. And by the way, this event is fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been great.
This is absolutely awesome.
It's the first time we've tried it in this facility, and a shout out to Danny Hayes, who's one of the owners of this place, and that's the Back Nine. He's a Roncalli guy too that I know very well. But not only do you have this, you got us up here on 3 right now. The IU football team is down on 2. And I don't know, for all you local people that love local bands, the Cornfield Mafia and my man Robert is going to play on the stage. They have a stage outside here.
I saw that.
This is just
That's awesome.
An all-encompassing, entertaining venue here at Back Nine. It is. Are you ready to go on Monday?
Man, I'm as ready as I can be.
You're going to wake your ass up at like 2 a.m., aren't you? I got to get in there.
I'm hoping I can get to like 3 or 4 a.m. on sleep. Yes, I'm already thinking about that in my mind.
Are you an early riser?
Yeah, I am. This morning I was up at 5:30.
I was up at 5:30 too.
Yeah.
I've got to get kids off to school and stuff.
I don't have any excuse like that.
See, if I didn't have that, then I sure as hell wouldn't be asleep or up at 5:30. But why were you up at 5:30?
Because I can't sleep in, man. Everyone's like, oh, you're going to have to get used to it. I'm like, I'm not going to have to get used to it that much. Yeah. Of course, I'm saying that now like I'm cocky, which could always bite me. But
you end up oversleeping, right?
Well, didn't Jake do that one time?
More than once.
That's what I thought. I'll have several alarms and I'll have people calling me that I will employ. Don't worry about it.
Hey, so Andy Sweeney's with us again. The new morning show. It's the morning wake-up call with Andy and Kevin, weekday morning, 7 until 10 a.m. here on The Fan. So my friends over here with Franciscan Health Heart Center, and I love working with them. So I go over there and I get my blood pressure tested,
yeah.
And I have incredibly high blood pressure.
Is that a shock to you or not?
Damn! I was like Florida Evans in Good Times. Damn!
So you got to watch that then.
Well, hey, guys, thanks for coming. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Derek. Good to see you, man.
I mean,
I love it. I love that, man. That's good. What's that? Oh, I can. You got something for Simon with? Go ahead, Andy. You talk really quick.
Well, no, I mean, the worst time now to it's like the guy that starts the diet when football season's getting ready to start.
Yeah.
You got college in the NFL, you got all this stuff, and I mean now you're going to have to watch your blood pressure. I mean, how's that going to work? You're not going to be able to do that.
Oh yeah, and
he wants me to sign it. I don't know if I feel worthy at all to be doing this.
Again, Back Nine's our location. It is the first fan golf outing. It's all of our shows been here. I don't think Jake and Kevin were here this morning, but certainly we just had James and Jimmy be a part of it. Thanks, Derek. I appreciate you, man. Good to see you. But, no, this has been a great event here. All right, what are you looking most forward to? What's the first thing I know you don't know because something may happen?
Well, we'll see what happens this weekend, right?
But what do you think? What do you anticipate the first thing?
I'm anticipating at some point, next week, once we get by next week, we're going to be, it's time where, Jonathan Taylor is going to show up if he's going to be ready. If we're talking about week one, usually, I know Kevin's talked about this, KB has, and I'm sure we'll talk about it on Monday, that once you get about 2 weeks out, is like one of those times where it's like, hey, you're going to be here or not. And so I think there's absolutely going to be a developing story there. And then, who plays this weekend, who doesn't play this weekend. And then obviously anything Anthony Richardson is going to be all the craze. And listen, man, I'm excited between the Colts, a new regime. I mean, I'm a big Richardson fan. I'm a fan of the coaching staff right now, what they're going to try to do. If you can get Taylor back, I think they can, they're going to want to run the football. And I think the Pacers are an absolutely, a playoff team. I'm jacked, man. I'm ready to go.
Andy Sweeney is the new morning co-host beginning on Monday. He and Kevin Bowen here on the Fan. Andy's joining us here at Back Nine. It is our first annual golf outing to benefit, again, what is a fantastic organization in the Franciscan Health Heart Center. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you very much. The thing with Jonathan Taylor with me is the excused absence right now because of the personal reason.
Right.
From what I've heard, that's legit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to dive into that. But as far as him still being injured, I don't buy that. I think this is more of kind of a hold-in type of situation to make sure you get paid.
I agree.
And because you don't want to pay or you don't want to have to pay anything in fines, and, this is how you get paid. So until I hear otherwise, that's what I believe this situation is for Jonathan Taylor right now.
I mean, what can they do to, outside of the money and the years and the security that he wants, what can they do? Can they come to the table? Can they make this nice this year?
I have said all along, is there any way that right now you could help massage the situation?
Exactly.
Instead of just drawing two lines in the sand and saying, you know what, neither one of us are going to cross this. And especially in terms of the Colts, because the Colts aren't going to move. So if you could just maybe try to meet somewhat in the middle, at least for this year, because, Andy, I've said this all along, both sides need one another. And the Colts need him to help out the growth process of their quarterback. And he needs them because, honestly, he needs to show what he can do. And sitting on your ass and sitting out and not being ready is not helping the whole running back situation at all.
It's different with Saquon Barkley, but, you saw a guy like Le'Veon Bell sit out. This is years ago because guys don't do it, right? Yeah. Because it's not something – and he wasn't in the prime of his career. He was more towards the back end of the prime. But Bell sits out. He's never the same. I mean, he disappeared, right? Yeah. Basically from the NFL. And probably hurt himself. Now, he did hurt himself for a couple of years, and so you have that. Barkley got a little bit more money from the Giants, kind of acted like, hey, I'm not going to be there. Then what did he do? He showed up. He was the quote-unquote good teammate. Yes, he did.
This is a little bit more money. I better do it.
Yeah, so that's where I am. Given that they have the money to do that, it's not one of those things where you won or lost. Right now, everyone is losing. And you mentioned on Jonathan Taylor's side, dude, you're exactly right, JMV. I mean, this is an offense that if you look at what the Eagles were able to do last year, and they're different rosters, running the football was such an identity of that team. You can't tell me that running the football is not good. Run the damn ball, right? That's not going to be the identity of this team, and he could rack up significant numbers, right?
Yeah.
That could help him in his case in the future.
Yeah, I mean, just being a part of help something grow, and more so than anything else, if you're able to. Oh, am I doing this too? I can do this. Hold on one second.
Oh boy,
Hang
look at
with
this
me right here. We're doing shots with Nicole and Harley D.
Hey, what's up? Good to meet you. Yeah, good to meet you.
Lemon drop. Okay, you want me to do this right now with you? All right.
Oh boy,
Andy,
look at
stand
this.
by.
Look at
Stand
this.
by. Thank you guys very much for that.
Little lemon drop. There, it's down. Perfect. Good form. There you go.
That's a little bit more of a gulp right there than it was anything else. No, I agree with you regarding Jonathan Taylor. I just think what's most important is the maturation and the involvement of your very inexperienced rookie quarterback.
Right.
And this is not a situation where you can just go, well, take somebody off the street and put them in there. Like, logically, a lot of people around the NFL talk about the running back situation. This is something where you need a known commodity. And the year before last especially, and you're talking about a guy a year ago that was injured, but he still tried to play oftentimes through it. But the year before last, that's a known commodity. He is still the best offensive player on this team. And neither one of these sides, I don't think, realize just how much in the moment they need one another.
I struggle with the cop-out that people give about the importance of a running back. I understand the conversation. There are arguments to be made on that side. But when I hear the Chiefs did such and such with a six-rounder.
It's different altogether.
It's different altogether when you have Mahomes and when you have one of the top rosters in the NFL and you have a Hall of Fame coach and you have all these different things. Then yes, you can, make a mistake like they did with Edward Solaire. I mean, taking him in the first round ended up being kind of a bust. But it's absolutely a cop out when people say that. And both sides need each other. I mean, they absolutely need each other. And I don't think anyone giving here. I think both giving a little bit makes things better for both sides. And I think in the next week, I hope that comes to fruition. Otherwise, it's going to be a story. I mean, listen, I think it's been a story you guys have been following, obviously, for weeks. It's going to be even more that if we get down to the true countdown of the season and he's not there.
Well, let's face it. I mean, he really wouldn't be probably playing too much right now, but practicing, yes.
Agreed.
And
you wouldn't want him to play in the preseason.
No. He wouldn't be playing right now anyway. But you would hope for some resolution. Thank you, B. Near Brothers. Appreciate you guys very much. Some sort of resolution. I just think, Andy, that the resolution's ultimately going to be, I think Jim's going to have to go ahead and go back on what he has said and end up trading him. I don't know where this is going to go outside of that. I don't know what the market might be, but I know the market would become more robust because it is going to be low ball city for this guy from absolutely everybody. And we're going to find out because Jim Irsay will go in the third quarter coming up tomorrow night in that preseason game in the booth with Greg Rakestraw and Rick Venturi, and Rick will end up asking that question, and Jim just can't help himself.
Oh, he's going to say something.
When you're thinking about it, as much as I like Jim Irsay, one of the reasons why I think this whole situation was magnified was because of that initial tweet. And what he did when he sent it out, well, this is, what was, debated. This is what we came up with contractually here. And we got to live by it. You can't go changing it when you get further down the road because you want to. This is all stuff that we knew. And then he kind of got a line in the sand drawn between himself and Jonathan Taylor. He may have even been talking about somebody else in that situation. Maybe he was talking about, the Steelers running back, I think, was the guy that actually had brought it up, and then people thought maybe he was talking about him.
Chargers, Austin Eckler. Remember, he had the Zoom with all the running backs and everything else.
And when you think about it, it was just something, if you had it to do over again, maybe Jim doesn't do that, then you wouldn't get the counter from the representation of Taylor, and then you wouldn't have this back and forth that is so awkwardly awful right now. And then yet another soap opera for this team to have to deal with. And believe me, year after year after year, this is a similar situation in which we've been in. So.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, I was at the Colts luncheon today. The brass took me over.
Yeah.
The suits took me over there, JMV. And it doesn't quite have the zing when they intro the running back room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the same thing.
Doesn't quite have the exact same effect.
No, it does not. All right, so the 15 seconds you did content down in Louisville every day, how much of that was dedicated to Kentucky basketball?
Oh,
Those
man.
toothless hillbillies in Kentucky.
Oh, boy.
I mean, the home of Turtle Man. Did you talk Turtle Man all the time?
I know Turtle Man. I did not talk Turtle Man all the time.
Do you
but
know
I
Turtle
don't
Man?
know. I know of Turtle Man, I should say. I wish I knew Turtle Man.
Well, I just considered everybody down there that close to the river are probably related. Were you related to Turtle Man?
I was not. No, I mean, I heard you. You're like, we're gonna quiz Sweeney on everything that he did his time in Louisville. I mean, I followed all the Cal being hired, winning the title, choking in the tournament, all of their stuff, all of the years of Louisville drama.
Patino in the Italian restaurant.
Oh, Lord heavens.
Did you have a lot of fun with that?
Did I? No, we had no fun. Of course we had fun with it.
15 seconds in an Italian restaurant is still awesome.
Now, it's the peak of sports talk radio. That's what it is. What I love about it, I love Patino.
Yeah.
I know people, Patino. Oh, yeah. Yeah, look who they've had since.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
He won a lot of games.
Yeah.
And he always brought content.
He did bring
He always
content.
brought drama, two things that are very good for men in our business.
Yeah, maybe the occasional hooker.
Yeah, you might be around. So, yes, I followed all of that, and it's. But listen, I've always wanted to follow professional sports, and there's some damn good ones right here.
All right, you ever interview Jennifer Lawrence? She's from Louisville, right?
I have not.
Come on, man.
I have not.
Did you know her? Did you grow up with her?
I did not. She wasn't one game, but she was amongst the luminaries in a suite somewhere far away from us.
Who else is famous from Louisville? Who else?
Well, I mean, Muhammad Ali. We followed his funeral and procession and everything else.
Yeah.
There's the rapper Jack Harlow. People
Jack
reference
Harlow.
You know who that is.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah.
The Jack Harlow.
No, I'm not a fan, but some
Jack
people
Harlow
are.
was a good high school basketball player, wasn't he?
I have absolutely. I don't
Really?
think so.
How do I know more about Kentucky high school basketball than Andy Sweeney? Come on, Sweebo.
I don't know if that's true or not.
I just may be making it up. I've been known to do that.
Well, that's
too.
fine. It's a Friday,
I'll
You've
just
had a
make it
long
up.
day.
So Jack Harlow's from around
Dude,
Louisville.
I don't know who else from Louisville. I don't know.
Did you go to high school with Dave? Did you go to what's his name? Travis Meeks? Days of the New? Is that guy's name? Days of the New?
He was. Man, was he in Charlestown, Indiana?
I think he was Chad Gilbert.
Yeah,
the land of Chad Gilbert.
Boy, does anyone except for us two know the Chad Gilbert reference?
I'm the only one, yeah.
You'd be thinking, why the hell are you guys mentioning my name?
Who was that 6'9" guy with the man bun over there? He's the athletic director of Charlestown High School. That's who he is.
Yes, he
Chad
is.
Gilbert, the pride of Indiana State
Well, I told you
University.
this off air. Boy, people don't care about this. He was my PE teacher. I was you'll love this because I knew I was like, I made good grades, but I wasn't going to do the honors stuff because I'm not doing trigonometry.
Yeah.
I mean, what am I going to do with that? Let's be honest about this. So I did the TV and the newspaper and the photojournalism. But, senior year, it's like PE leadership.
Yeah.
Right there,
Chad Gilbert, huh?
Chad Gilbert, boom, there you go. It's an easy A.
He was at Indiana State when I was, and I used to get those guys in trouble all the time because they'd get hammered before games at my house. Tater Tots Locke didn't like it. Did not like it.
Oh, that's a good story.
He'd be
fantastic.
monitoring. They'd be on the way to Cedar Rapids, Cedar Falls, Iowa. They go to northern Iowa. These guys will all be hung over, and he wouldn't like it.
That's a long bus ride hungover.
Tater Tots right there. All right, what are you guys doing on Monday morning?
Talking sports, baby, and whatever else happens over the weekend. We'll see what happens, obviously, with the Colts, what news comes out from that, and we'll wing it from there, and we'll see how this baby grows. Obviously, it's great. KB and Jake doing a great job, and everybody else. So I'm excited to join the team here. Absolutely.
Speaking of babies growing, you're about ready. And Kev, recently, I used to bring Kevin in every time he was on with me. Paul Anka's song, You're Having My Baby, all the time. And he was very uncomfortable about that. I think his father-in-law is incredibly uncomfortable when I bring that up. Thus, I bring it up even more.
Yeah, I was about to say they should never admit that to you. Otherwise, it's going to happen even more.
Bring it up even more.
But yeah, me and my wife are expecting, so it's job, home, baby, all happening. It's like I'm a totally different person here in the next few weeks and months.
Good to see you again, brother.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
You're the radio legend here. What are you talking about? This is my honor. Come on.
I am such a turd here. Seriously. I mean,
well, you know what I'm tired of, and I was going to talk about this on Monday.
Yeah.
I'm tired of wearing polos and khakis. I need to get back to what you're wearing. Right?
Exactly.
I need to. I'm in radio. Okay.
I'm in complete and utter comfort wherever I go.
You're damn right you are.
I'm gonna tell you what. If I'm not wearing a V-neck, then there's an issue.
Then there's a problem.
Because I gotta have the neck breathe. I've got to be able.
You're
to
a
breathe.
V-neck guy.
I've got high blood pressure. All right, I can't be hassled with it. So clearly from today, I got high blood pressure. Don't hassle me about my V-neck. So,
hey, I'm not. It looks good,
brother. I appreciate.
I'll be the last one. Hey, appreciate it, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Andy Sweeney. It is not the morning wood with Swebo. It is the morning wake-up call with Andy and Kevin, which starts coming up on Monday, 7 a.m. Be tuned in right here. Thanks, brother. Andy Sweeney, everybody. Quick break, and we shall return. Hagen walked in here. Is that place called Bookies? Everybody loves that, and I don't understand why. It's a truck stop. Why does everybody love that? Yeah, that truck stop right there that you got on your shirt. We'll get Hagen on the other side. Bob Lovell's coming up as well. Go ahead and sit down here, too. We got a busy show for you, including Mike Wells of ESPN Radio, Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. Will Anthony Richardson start coming up tomorrow night in preseason game 2? The latest on Shaquille Leonard. Any of these injuries we're talking about in that matchup with the Bears coming up tomorrow night. That and more. Hagen's going to join us. Bob Lovell still to come. Mike Wells and Mike Chappell. And again, this has been an outstanding time. Back 9. This is the fan golf outing at the Back 9 to benefit Franciscan Health Heart Center. I'm glad I got tested today. Maybe you should too. Check it out today. And again, I'll give you more information as we move along. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. thank all of our sponsors that have been a part of this. I mentioned LD Smith Plumbing during the break, too. Lance had his team out here today. The folks from Zero Res were out here today, too. Talked with them for a little bit. The Indy Fuel out here. The Colts here. Pacers were a part of it. It's just been great. It really has. Oh, yeah. Jimi Hendrix, obviously, with Live Nation. Live Nation was here a little bit earlier, too. And WeGrowHairAndy.com. Again, what we're doing today is raising money for Franciscan Health and Heart Center is what we're doing today. I found out I had high blood pressure, so I'm going to do something about that. Get your numbers checked today when and if you can, and make that thing a priority. And that's what we're trying to raise that awareness with that in mind with this event today. And thank you all for being a part of this. And I'll give love as we move along in this particular show. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, Bob Lovell, Indiana Sports Talk, in what is a tremendous opening evening of high school football around the state of Indiana. And Bob has his finger on the pulse of the evening. Hello, Bob. How are you?
Hey, John. How are you? And, hey, before we get started, I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing to bring awareness to high blood pressure, heart situations. Everyone knows I've suffered a heart attack. I've had open heart surgery. I've had carotid artery surgery. So a lot of this is because of high blood pressure. And so do yourself a favor. It's real easy. Watch what you do. Get checked out. Take care of yourself because it's really an extremely serious situation. So I applaud you and everybody involved for doing a great thing today.
I was at $150. I was at $150 over 100, Bob, today.
You are a superstar, John. You know that.
That's not very good.
My last one was 133 over.
It's not good.
My last one was 133 over 61, and so the doctors are just going, hey, you know what? What are you doing? I said, I'm taking all the drugs you guys prescribe and doing all the things I do. So you got to be careful because it is a dangerous situation, especially guys your age, my age.
Yeah.
And also women. The other thing is, we have the erroneous feeling that it's only guys who suffer heart problems, and that's absolutely not true. And so this is something for men and women to pay very strict attention about. Obviously, I'm pretty passionate about it because a couple of great doctors have saved my life along the way, and so I owe it to make sure people understand what's going on.
No, there's no doubt about that, too. And, it's funny, Bob, most of the time you don't really recognize it or prioritize it until it can be too late, until you're too far down the road. John, so get in front of this, and that's what's important.
I recognized it, John, when I was in the ambulance going to the emergency room. So, yeah, I paid attention after that.
So Bob Lovell is with us, Indiana Sports Talk, later on tonight. All right, you got night number one. I was talking to Eric Moore yesterday. They don't play until tomorrow night over in Canton, Ohio, against that team outside. Thank you very much for showing up here with us today, outside of Cleveland, Ohio. And obviously, first 6 weeks of their schedule is out of state and incredibly awkward, but a really good test for the number one team in 6A. When you're looking at the rest of 6A, besides Eric's team, how do you size that thing up as we start the season, Bob?
Well, I think there are question marks. I think it's very balanced. Obviously, Center Grove's won the last three. They've had some injury issues, have to replace some starters. And so this is the night where you figure some things out. There's some really, really good matchups. Ben Davis playing at Moeller. Lafayette Jeff, who can throw it around. This game with Cathedral will be a fun game to watch because you got Lafayette Jeff is a high-octane, like to put it in the air kind of offense. Obviously the Cathedral's quarterback is one of the best in the state, in the country. And so that's a great matchup. Carroll is at Hamilton Southeastern. You're seeing this is a trend. You got Carroll from Fort Wayne at HSC, Warren Central hosting Snyder, and then Brownsburg's at Dwinger. So I think it's really interesting that the Fort Wayne schools have decided, look, if we expect to win at the highest level, we're going to need to find out what it takes, and we need to schedule teams of that caliber, and those are three really good matchups tonight.
You know what, Bob, it's funny, when I was talking to Eric yesterday, he didn't say it, but this is just my thought. I think that he absolutely loves the thought that he had to make up that schedule and put these out-of-state, incredibly challenging teams on it. I think that juices, re-energizes him to a degree here. Another challenge, a challenge in which he has not had to go through so far. I think he embraces it more than he loathes it.
Well, that's the kind of guy he is. It's one of the reasons why he's one of the best football coaches the state will ever see. I think he understands, as cliched as it is, you want to be the best, you have to play the best. And, you want to find out really what you're about. And can you make plays when you have to in crucial situations against good teams? Because if you expect to win a championship, that's exactly what you're going to have to do. And so, no, it's not in his nature to run away from things. And it's in his nature. And a lot of these coaches are saying, we don't get into coaching if you're afraid. You get into coaching to face challenges and deal with kids and try to make them better. And so I think that's what this is about.
Bob Lovell joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Which class do you think, not talent-wise, but which class do you believe to be the most all the way around competitive?
Tell you what, that's a great question. I really think there's I think 5A is a very balanced, balanced class. I really do. I think 1A, when you look at what's happened in the last few years, Dave Pax and his guys at Lutheran have kind of dominated, and so, they may be once again in that situation. But I think 2, 3, 4, and 5 are pretty wide open, to be frank. And I think 6 is too. But the one that really strikes me is this 5A. I mean, you look around. I mean, Snyder. We'll find out about them tonight with Warren Central. Whiteland with a great run to the tournament last year, to the championship game. People up north really like Andrean. The Andrean Merrillville game tonight might be one of the best in the state. And then locally, you look at Decatur Central. They're ranked. As we mentioned, Brownsburg and Dwingers are ranked. And my Quakers are ranked number 13. Mike Gillen keeps doing what he does at Mooresville. Franklin is ranked 15th. So you start going down the 5A ranks. There's some really good teams, John.
Yeah, no doubt about that. 4A kind of pops off the page a little bit to me because you start the season with East Central on top. We know,
right?
And I remember listening to this on my way home this time last year, what New Pal did to Westfield in New Pal to start the season last year.
Right.
I mean, they gave them the once-over. To the south, Wrights, obviously, Mooresville still, in there, a team to be reckoned with. But I'm kind of wondering what Roncalli is going to look like this year. How about you?
I agree with you. I think they are wondering themselves, but I'll tell you what they did. They played well last year, won some big games, had a great season. Eric Quintana has done a wonderful job. I'm with you. I think there's some really solid teams. Rice is always good. The Evansville situation is the competitive one. Really, really good teams. Modern Day, Rice, Castle, go through the different classes. But I think you're right. I think it's one of those things where you see some of the traditional powers still doing what they do. And this East Central matchup, as you point out tonight, is always a good one. There's no question that you find out. I think it's great, again, that teams are playing these kinds of games. You get a chance in these first 2 weeks to play out of your conference and have some fun.
No, you're absolutely right about that, too. I mean, for example, you look Brebeuf, Chittard, big one here locally coming up later on tonight, too, a 4A and a 3A. In fact, I believe the 3A number 1 in Chittard. You look around, and you're going to find teams, Bob, as you mentioned, testing themselves out of the gate, which always has not been the case in coaching philosophy over the years of the past.
Well, I think it's changing, John. I think everybody recognizes the concept of, you'll find out much more about your team by playing great schedules. I think the other part of it, too, is, let's be honest, with the concept we have in our tournament set up in Indiana, it's an open tournament. Everybody gets in, and clearly there are those on that like to discuss about seeding and all the other things about it. But from a coaching standpoint, I think it's great that everybody gets in, so you get a chance to use these games to find out what you're about. And truly, figure out some things that you do well and then those things you don't do well. And so I think, and especially here this time of year, I mean, look outside. It's a perfect day. It'll be a perfect night, John, to play football. Literally, how much better can it get for you?
No, you're right about that. Bob Lovell, Indiana Sports Talk. You'll say the same thing. Take it easy, Brandon. Thank you very much. About Bob's show tonight, tomorrow night, he's going to have you set, recapping everything tonight when you're on your way home. And then, obviously, so much to talk about tomorrow night as well. Throughout the stations on the network Indiana affiliations around the state of Indiana. Bob Lovell of Indiana Sports Talk on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. It is year number 30. Year number 30 and start of the high school football campaign tonight. Big deal, Bob. We'll be listening. Thanks, buddy.
No, I appreciate it, John. Thanks.
Bob Lovell right there on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Hey, we're here at Back 9, and this is our golf outing. Again, we're going to benefit Franciscan Health Heart Center, which I am absolutely proud to do. Chris Hagan of Fox 59 joins us. I went over and I got my blood pressure checked. And it was high.
Well, you know, I think if I was about to go on the air, if I was on the air, it would be higher. But if I was at home, do you ever do this? You try to, like, I know you got to go to break, but before they do do you try to, like,
try
to calm yourself?
I was drinking a Bloody Mary.
You had a Bloody Mary. That's always good. The doctors have said right before any test, knock back a Bloody Mary and then go for it.
This is exactly how Dean Martin probably had his blood pressure checked, was this way.
But you know what? He didn't live as long, but he had quality of life. He enjoyed his life. Look at this guy.
That's D. Wood right there in the house. You believe I tried to name the morning show something different?
Yeah,
he wouldn't listen to me.
I don't know why.
Yeah, me either. What you got? What's this on your shirt here?
What do you know about Bucky's?
Nothing.
Oh, my God.
Where's Leeds, Alabama?
You ever heard of Charles Barkley?
Yes.
Charles Barkley.
That's where he's from Leeds,
yes.
is he?
Suburb of Birmingham, and it's right there where the Barber Motorsports Park is.
That's a big
where they
deal
run the
right
IndyCar
there.
race, yeah.
It's a big deal.
Bucky started in Texas. We'll do it after the break. But, yeah, callers light up JMV's email with Bucky's because he doesn't know.
I have no – what is it, just kind of like some truck stop?
I don't have enough time to tell you.
Bunch of truckers taking showers in there?
Trucks not allowed at Bucky's.
Really?
More than 100 pumps at the gas station.
They don't have shower stalls for the truckers?
Isn't Mike Wells calling in?
Yeah.
We'll ask him. That's all you need to know. I told
you ever
Wells
shower in a shower stall at a truck stop?
I didn't shower, but
Did you puke in it?
Good grief.
Hey, see you guys. The Hatfield clan right there. My brother. See you guys. Take it easy. Good time back at USI.
You're like the pilot in Airplane. You ever showered in a truck stop?
I'm just kind of overwhelmed by that. All right, quick break. Hagan joins us on the other side. Wells, Chappell, still to come. Again, we're live at Back 9. The first annual fan golf outing to benefit Franciscan Health Heart Center. 93.5, 107.5. Hey, welcome back. Back 9, our location for our first annual fan golf outing to benefit Franciscan Health Heart Center. Great time today so far. Great online bids, too, that were going on with a lot of the stuff that is up for auction. Thank you very much for being a part of it. Chris Hagan rejoins us right here. Is Anthony Richardson going to play tomorrow night? Do we know yet?
As of yesterday, he said he hadn't decided. He didn't know anything about that.
What do you think? Should he play? I believe that the more reps, the better.
I think play him tomorrow, sit him on Thursday. I mean, it's such a quick turnaround. You go Saturday, Thursday, and then you have a little extended break before the opener against the Jaguars. So I'd say get him out there tomorrow and then don't play him at all. Just give it to Gardner and Sling and Sammy Ellinger.
Over under of 6 wins this year. Which direction you go?
Three. Wow.
You might be right, Ross.
I would. Every year there's a team that surprises you in a positive way or negative way. Maybe the Colts are the team that surprises you in a positive way. But right now I'd be leaning toward the under. It might be a push. They might win 6 games.
I think if they win 6 games, everybody around here will view that as wow, because you look around this roster right now and. First of all, there's zero margin for error, and if you have that error, then things really could go haywire. So
I think they need to be like the Pacers were last year.
Yes,
entertaining losses, but you think an eye toward the future. If they can do that, if you see the potential of Richard could be, you realize he only turned 21 in May. If you look at this and go, okay, look at this, and let's get him to when he's 23, 24. You don't want to have any setbacks physically or mentally for a young QB, especially in the NFL.
I've never been nor seen Bucky's. Can you tell me about Bucky's on the other side? Why is this such a big deal?
Gladly, I will.
He's a beaver.
He's Bucky.
Nice beaver.
Well, okay then.
That's right on your shirt right there.
I'm not going to touch that.
You know, seriously, my friend growing up actually found a beaver. Found a beaver in front of my mom's house last week, and he sent me a picture, and this is a true story. Actually, it's more than a picture. It was a video he sent to me, and he thought it was dead. He thought he got hit by a car, and he picked it up, and it tried to bite him.
Oh, no. Never assume. Never assume about a beaver.
The beaver was sandbagging it.
Never touch a beaver unless you're absolutely sure.
There's no doubt about that. All right. Tell me about Bucky's. Bookies on the other side. All right, Mike Wells going to join us, too. You guys can jump on board. We got stuff to give away. Jim Irsay collection band tickets to the Hoosier Hardwood Fest. I'll give you a little bit more insight of the 5 o'clock hour on that as well. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Here's what we learned after the Colts' first preseason game.
Renewed energy and vigor.
Run threat at quarterback.
Richardson impressed me.
Deion Jackson had a couple nice runs.
The Colts and Shane Steichen are handling this as well as you can. This is what you do.
Lock up the silverware. Padlock the refrigerator, because here come the Bears for 2 joint practices and a game tomorrow night. Pre-game at 4, kickoff at 7 on your home for the Indianapolis Colts. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
All right, the best in terms of getting your new set of wheels. That's Eric Wilson, Andy Moore, Buick GMC, 131st State Road 37. Yeah, there's Jimi Hendrix in the house of Live Nation right there. Going to see Jimmy Eat World tonight. Maybe. Or not. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. Franciscan Health Heart Center. Get your numbers checked today, believe me. Because I checked mine and I went, holy crap. Not good. Hey, by the way, Chris Hagan's with me right now. What are we playing in the background here for the Wells?
We're trying to see if Wells can get it.
Mike Wells joins us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline from ESPN Radio. You recognize this, Mike?
Oh, hell no, I don't recognize it. And it sounds like you have a hell of a crowd at back 9 over there today. Am I hearing that correct? And it's pretty live out there?
Is it? Oh, that's the music being played here. That's not even ours. I don't even hear ours.
I was playing Sweet Baby by Stanley Clarke and George Duke. I heard it yesterday on the satellite radio. I hadn't heard it in forever. I go, that's a smooth jam. So then we wanted a suggestion. I threw it out there. But if you don't know that song, Wellesley, you need to learn it.
Well, I can't. Listen, I love you, Hagan, but there's no way in the world I'm taking a music suggestion from you.
You know what? Were you listening before you called in?
No. Why? What do you have going?
Because I'm wearing a Bucky's T-shirt, and John was asking me what in the hell is Bucky's, and I said, wait till Wells calls in. You can ask him. So that is an example of a suggestion I gave you, a recommendation that paid huge dividends.
Well, first of all, when it comes to food, you and I are in agreement on that. But music, we do not roll in the same. But yes, JMV, you've never heard of Bucky's?
No, I've never been there either.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's so great about it? I can buy barbecue corn chips anywhere on the road here. What's so great about this?
Hey, but you can't get beaver nuts though from there.
Beaver nuggets, Wells. Beaver nuggets.
I don't eat beaver nuts.
That's what Wells' family likes to call them.
What's so good about these? What are these beaver nuts? What do they do for you?
Listen, man. Jay loves calling them beaver nuts. I'm like, dude, beaver nuggets. He goes, no, I got my nuts, beaver nuts. That's how he describes it.
It's like a giant. They started in Texas, and for a while they were only in Texas, and now they're branching out to different locations. The closest one to us is like Richmond, Kentucky. They just announced last week, Wells, they're going to build one near Dayton, Ohio. That'll be the closest one. But they're ginormous, gas pumps everywhere, clean bathrooms. Anything you could want is in there. They got fresh brisket. They got fudge, jerky, sandwiches, cinnamon rolls. They got candied nuts. Since you're on the nut kick, John.
This is the best place for fudge and candied nuts I know of.
It is.
Here.
It really
Let's
is.
drive to Dayton, Ohio. Hurry up.
Just be careful with this. That you're not jerking around with your jerky, all right? You can't be doing that.
John's show's just been canceled, Wells. Good job.
What
by the FCC.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe this is something that I'm just going to have grow on me, I guess, here. I don't really get the
You'll be
it's
glad.
Just a big old gas station with a bunch of stuff.
You'll be glad you went.
I mean, I can find egg salad sandwiches at Speedway just as good.
I never go in there and spend less than $100. I'll tell you that right now.
You spend $100 in Bucky's?
Yep.
Yeah, you spend $100 in there. I drive off at the gas pump in my car still. It is pure entertainment at Bucky's, Jay.
Wells was so excited he drove off from the gas pump with the pump still in the
car. That's good right there.
Somewhere in Alabama, there are detectives still looking for Mike Wells.
Very Chevy Chase of you right there, man. That's great. It's Mike Wells of ESPN Radio. He is with us today. So what do you make of what you've seen Colts-wise so far? We've had a lot of discussions regarding Jonathan Taylor. Since the last time you joined us, Anthony Richardson has been installed as the Week 1 starter. Give me some of these decisions the Colts are making right now, whether or not you agree with them.
Listen, I think the biggest one, and you and I have talked about it the last few Fridays, is that if Jonathan Taylor was not the starter in Week 1, everybody needed to freak the hell out about any type of hope for this franchise. So I love that Shane Steichen went ahead and made that official. I don't think there was any doubt. I don't think anybody should mention the name Jonathan Taylor again until he's either traded or he shows up and all of a sudden his rehab is done and he's ready to play some football for the Colts. That's where I'm at with Jonathan Taylor. He should not even be discussed in there. I've been down at Bloomington all day. Has there been any update on why Shaq Leonard didn't practice yesterday?
No, they didn't talk last night, Wells, until after practice at 8.
And then Steichen didn't meet with the media.
Today's a travel day, so yeah, hard to come by any updates.
Where the hell they traveling to? From Grand Park to Lucas Oil Stadium?
Oh yeah. I got confused, Wells. I have a head injury. You interrupted my idea. I was going to say you talked about you have to start Richardson, but another local media member predicted that successfully way back in April. There was another local TV sportscaster. He went way out on a limb to predict this, and I think he deserves a pat on the back besides somebody from himself.
All right. Hey, well, how about you go ahead and tell us the name and the station of this television anchor, sports director who predicted that? Let's go ahead and give him props on that scoop, okay? I want to hear from you, Hagan.
He beat everybody, including myself, to the punch. He knew it. He knew what no one else did.
What are we talking?
That the quarterback drafted 4th overall would be the starter. He had a feeling. Wells, and he went with it.
Is this a joke about something right here?
You need to get more. You don't know about Bucky's. You don't know about me and Wells' inside joke.
Hey, Mike, what is this inside joke? Did somebody in town say this? We got to name names here.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. He needs to mention a name. Let us know who.
I hate you, Wells.
Hey, listen. Hey, here's the deal, Jay. True story. I promise you guys I'm not lying. I have DirecTV, so I have not been able to have any access to CBS 4, Fox 59, or Wish TV for a long time. So if somebody on one of those 3 stations.
So Anthony Calhoun predicted this. Anthony Calhoun predicted that he would be the opening week starter.
My headphones aren't working. I can't hear what you're saying. I lost contact.
Come on, AC. But hey, Mike, I have that problem too with 59, with CBS 4, and I haven't seen Wish TV Channel 8 in 4 years.
Oh my goodness! Hey, Hagan, get on the ball, man. You're falling behind on doing that. Getting the big scoops.
Well, I think this gets settled before the NFL gets going because Nexstar, our company, owns so many CBS and Fox stations that obviously have all the football games. They're going to burn down the DirecTV headquarters and Nexstar headquarters if they don't have this fixed. So I think it'll get done within the next 3 weeks.
Are you in on these contractual talks?
John, they do bring me in. They want my expertise. And no, I don't know anything about this. But yeah, I know that our company owns more TV stations than anybody in the country. So they flex that muscle a lot. And it's, we got some big wigs that they will not be stared down in situations like this. So I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Is that they got to get it resolved because is it because you guys are the home of the Colts?
Well, yeah, it's an interesting situation because we're one of the markets where Nexstar owns 2 stations, Fox and CBS. And clearly I do not speak on behalf of Nexstar, Fox 59, or CBS 4. But I can tell you all 17 Colts regular season games are on one of our stations. Every game is on CBS or Fox. So, yeah, you would hope nationally and especially locally this gets worked out before September the 10th.
Okay, by the way, you still never answered the question on who had Anthony Richardson's scoop. I like how you danced around that with JMV and I, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't remember. I have a head injury. I don't remember what you're talking about.
So will the Colts win more games this year than games you guys miss because of this?
Look, I have all the faith in the world in the management of Nexstar. I am a DirecTV subscriber, so I've.
So you thought we were just going to make fun of Anthony Calhoun this entire segment? No, now we got to make fun of you.
I have the utmost faith in everyone dealing with this that it will get done. But it's That's a lot of money going back and forth. And so they'll figure it out because people like Wells, people like you, and people like me, I have called in and complained to DirecTV, and you've seen what it's done so far.
In all seriousness, I hope it does get resolved because I do want to watch Anthony Richardson play this season, and I want to be able to watch the other games because Monday I got people reaching out talking about what do you think of Anthony Richardson. I was like, I have no idea because Chris Hagen's station can't get their heads out their booty and get things resolved. So I couldn't even answer the question about how Anthony Richardson looked.
It was all my decision too, Wells. You know that. It is. You know, you can get on. You can get on certain apps too and watch these games, or you can get on the. What is it? The YouTube has the Sunday ticket this year.
Yeah, we already pay a lot of money not to jack with that stuff, though.
Yeah. Well.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
Wells, I heard you. You know, we made light of the idea, but you know, this franchise, you threw Peyton Manning out there as a first-round pick, and he went 3-13 and threw 28 picks. You threw Andrew Luck out there with a retooled team, and he led them, an unbelievable run to the playoffs. So, in situations like this, you never know what's going to happen. But I think we all agree that you got to get them out there, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because you're not really playing for this season. You're playing for the future, and you got to start building this 21-year-old from the ground up.
And what happens is if you play them out there, the Colts struggle still. They don't win many games. The thing is you want to see what you have as far as being able to erase the questions at quarterback. You want to erase that, okay, we have to try to find a quarterback yet again in the offseason. Do we need to try to find a way to get Caleb Williams out of USC? Or you say, okay, we didn't win, but Anthony Richardson was not our biggest problem. Our biggest problem was trying to find a pass rush or get a true legitimate number one overall receiver. Maybe they can get Marvin Harrison Jr. next year's draft. You just want Richardson out there so that you don't have to worry about any more questions at quarterback. That's what you want to see and make sure that position is locked down going forward in the future.
So, Wells, let me ask you this. The Colts, they played to a tie last year in the season opener down in Houston, and they were happy and lucky to get the tie. Haven't won a preseason opener in a decade. Does that unfortunate streak continue this year?
You mean regular season opener? Or you talking about regular season opener, right?
A season opener, yeah, regular season opener.
Oh, hell no. Listen, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars, they're a sleeper team to me in the AFC, man. I think Trevor's going to take another step. Hopefully Calvin Ridley and his betting issues are resolved. Travis, the running back, Etienne or whatever his name is, I think he's going to have a bigger year. I like what they're doing down there in Jacksonville. So winning that season opener, I would not, if I were a betting man, I would not go in favor of the Colts.
That point spread is only 4 as it sits right. You can bet on that week 1 game, and Jaguars are favored. It was 3.5, and then when they named Richardson the starter, it moved from 3.5 to 4.
Oh man, so yeah, no, yeah, I'm not.
Wells is saying take the 401k down.
Yeah.
Wells says take the 401k down to the betting window and put it all on Jags -4 is what Wells is saying.
Yeah, and then give me some of your money.
Hey, I do have a question, Mike. Mike Wells joins us. Chris Hagan with me as well. We're at back 9 for the fan golf outing to benefit the Franciscan Health Heart Center. Being a great day so far. I look at the AFC, and you have Kansas City at the top of the list, and some would probably factor in the Bills and the Bengals. Go ahead. Once Joe Burrow is back and deemed healthy. Outside of those 3 teams, who's next in the hierarchy of the AFC? Take Kansas City, Buffalo, and Cincinnati out of it right now for the sake of this argument and this answer. Who's next? Who's the next team in that group? Mike?
I see. I'm not buying the hype on the Jets. I know they got Aaron Rodgers. They signed Dalvin Cook to help out in the backfield. I'm not buying that. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. I'm going with the Dolphins. And that next, I'll go to the next group of 3. I go Dolphins, Jags, and I'm going to say the Baltimore Ravens.
Where do y'all got Chargers in this equation?
Man, listen, I have no faith in Staley, the head coach. He just finds a way late in the season or in the playoffs to fumble, bumble, stumble his way. Kellen Moore is going to end up being the head coach of the Chargers at some point.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, I look at it this way, too. I mean, with what Sean Payton, had said about what went in Denver last year and now taking over, I mean, he better have a memorable type of turnaround here. Well, he's going to have to answer a lot of stuff. So I'm kind of looking if there's that opportunity for that turnaround, right, of a team, especially one that we saw front and center on a Thursday night in one of the worst games in the history of the NFL, won by the Colts in Denver. I would guess the Broncos would be a part of that reclamation type of project, right, with Sean Payton?
Well, hey, I sipped the Kool-Aid. I sipped that orange Kool-Aid of the Broncos last year until that horrible Thursday night game where Stephon Gilmore got the interception on Russell Wilson in the end zone. I'm not. Sean Payton may be a hell of a coach, but I'm not sure what Russell Wilson has left in the tank other than his ability to make some babies.
Who has a better year, Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson?
Oh, Aaron Rodgers is gonna have a better year. I'm just saying, I'm not believing in the Jets being a Super Bowl contender, but Aaron Rodgers is gonna have a better year.
I like him more after watching Hard Knocks. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but I like him more than I did before.
I am done watching Hard Knocks after watching that poo-poo show of it when they followed the Colts 2 years ago. After that, I said I was done with Hard Knocks.
Well, Wells is becoming like Wells is younger than us, John, but he's quickly joining our group of the grumpy old man. He's coming to join the dark side. Congratulations, Wells, and welcome.
Hey, that's why I love you guys, man. That's why you guys are my Caucasian brothers, man. That's why I love them.
Hey, Mike, it's interesting, too. We know that the work that you do down at IU as well to round out great young communicators, but the IU football team's right downstairs from us right here. All of them.
Hey,
Let me go tell them your prediction for the season.
I got bad reception. Hey, I will tell them my prediction as soon as Hagan says who made the prediction about Anthony Richardson starting in April. That's when I'll give my prediction.
Well, I already said that. That must have been AC, right? Anthony Calhoun?
I don't remember what we were talking about. Hey, Wells, I got a quick question. John, Wells had me speak to one of his classes, and I was wondering how many of his students got out of the communication business as soon as they got through listening to me talk.
You know what, Chris? I tease you all the time. I make fun of you, crack jokes all the time. But in all seriousness, those high school students loved you, bro. When you got off the Zoom call, they loved, A, your knowledge, and B, your personality. Hey, so I will give you credit, and I don't like to give you credit, but that's one I can't shy away from. You truly kicked ass that day when you talked to those students.
Mark the tape. This will never happen again. It's never happened before. Wells has given me credit. But you know what? Jokes aside, I was honored you asked me to speak to some young folks, and I was hoping that at least one took something away from it. So I'm really honored to hear that.
Well, yeah. So John, I needed a TV person, sportscaster, and I went down the list. I said I need somebody who's going to have fun, who's not going to talk about themselves the entire time. And they being more inclined to have back and forth conversation with the students. And Hagan was my prediction by a mile. But from the local side.
The one kid had his head on the table, and I called him out. I'm like, hey, wake that kid up. What's he doing? And then he looked up and laughed. So I was like, I wanted to make sure, even though it was on Zoom, I wanted to be engaged and try to have, a personal touch on it.
No, he didn't have his head up. So, no, that was all good. Hey, I know we will talk again. We will talk again before the regular season starts, but Hagan only shows up once every 6 months these days. So I'm gonna ask Hagan this: what is your prediction on wins for the Colts this year?
John was asking me earlier about the over-under of 6, and I said I would go under, but I think it might be right smack dab on 6. They may win 6 games, but there's always surprises.
6-11.
That's what I would say right now.
I'm gonna take the under on that.
Okay.
Give
Well,
me,
especially
I think 5 and 12 is feasible to me right there. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think it's going to be at all record-wise a lot better than what we saw last year. But hopefully the whole clown show aspect of last year stays out of it, although you can make an argument the soap opera aspect has not so far because we find ourselves engulfed in that again.
Yeah, no, and you still believe Ballard has at least this season and next season still?
Oh yeah, he's going to be here 3. He'll be here, Mike. He'll be here, Mike, because you'll see some signs with the young quarterback, even with a disappointing record. Next year, you want to see even more growth, and then that third year is going to be all right. So the proof is going to be here, or we're going to make some changes. So you're going to be here 3 years.
Well, and Wells hit the nail on the head. It's not about wins and losses. It's about stability. No questions about your head coach. You know, he's in his first year. No questions about quarterback looking to find the next retread you can bring in. It's like build now and look toward the future. So I think if you're a Colts fan, you want one thing all year, stability.
Yeah, and hopefully they have it because I feel sorry for our guys Chappell and Holder and Joe Erickson and Kevin Bowen because it seems like this training camp was about 3 to 4 months instead of just above long with all the drama they had to deal with.
Hey, by the way, the Colts signed wide receiver James Washington. I believe that's the 27-year-old veteran wide receiver, most noted as playing in Pittsburgh. That move was made a little bit earlier today. They waive injured wide receiver Malik Turner to IR if he clears waivers. But James Washington brought into the fold as a veteran wide receiver for the Colts a little bit earlier this afternoon. All right, Mike, what you got going on this weekend?
Oh, man, I'm sitting in the parking lot waiting on your girl Layla right now to get out of volleyball practice. And I'm gonna be down at UND. She's going to the basketball camp at UND on Sunday. A little soccer and basketball for Tay this weekend. So just a normal being an Uber, man. What about how's school going for my girl Lainey?
Oh, Lainey, she plays tomorrow up at Mojo Up. Tomorrow, I think in the morning and toward the midday. Blake's running for Roncalli up at Carmel tomorrow. So I got Colts pregame at 4 and then JMV takeover from 7 until midnight. So it's going to be a busy Saturday.
Man. And by the way, Hagan won't mention one of the TV reporters' name the same way you don't mention some radio people's name, man. You guys are like tied in together.
Well, I did mention that because you've probably seen the changes going on here. New morning show, which begins coming up on Monday, and then Jake Query's moving to the midday. And I didn't mention, because somebody had brought this up, hey, you and Jake are going to do a lot of crosstalk. And I said, yeah, it's kind of like what we started out doing when Dan was there. We got 2 days of crosstalk in, and then the second day, I think I said something that pissed him off or vice versa, and we never did it again. 2 days of crosstalk in 9 years.
And all those in 9 years?
Yeah, 9 years. Yeah.
Man.
2 days. That was it.
I
can't remember what it was about, and I can't remember. I think he was the one that was pissed. I think it's something I said, and then I kind of laughed about it or something, and then that was the end of crosstalk.
Oh man, now you guys can go out there and smoke some meat together, man. Hey, fellas,
man.
Hey, man, you guys have a great weekend. I'll talk to you next Friday, brother.
Tell Layla I said hello, too.
See you, Wells.
Mike Wells of ESPN Radio and the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. That's a true story. Like 2 days of crosstalk, and then
Wells is a great writer, a great friend, but he's also, even more than that, he's the greatest instigator.
He's trying to instigate something between you and AC?
Start with you and everybody. He likes to instigate, and he likes to poke, and then he steps aside and laughs and watches to see what happens.
I don't think AC would be mad about that, would he?
Go to break.
Hey, who else can we? Let's dig at some other folks today, just for the hell of it. Who do you want to dig?
I'm surprised you haven't brought in Calabro and Widlick when they almost went. When they almost went mano-y-mano.
That was one of the greatest moments of my life, right there. Because I thought these two big wussies are going to fight right up here in the press box. And that was before cameras and stuff? Yeah. I mean, there would have been no documentation of it.
It would have been like an Anchorman with the two competing stations.
Like red-faced old men. God, that was a great moment. All right, quick break. We'll come back. Hagen's with us. Pat Sullivan's over there. Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Get your questions in. Hashtag Ask Pat at JMV 1070 on Twitter and or X. And the winner today is going to get free Yeti. Free Yeti from Pat Sullivan of Sullivan Hardware and Garden. That's next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. giving away tickets right now to the Hoosier Hardwood Festival, which is coming up. I know you want to be a part of that, won't you? We're going to talk that up coming up, I think around 5:30 later on today as well. So be ready for that. The Hoosier Hardwood Festival. And that is actually the 25th, which is a Friday through Sunday, August the 27th. Boone County Fairgrounds. Lumberjack shows, kids camps. Hagen, you ever want to be a lumberjack?
I still do.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Never give up your dreams.
Over 200 chainsaw carving artists. Twiggy the water skiing squirrel. Woodworkers, crafters, wood-themed art. Big industry equipment, many educational sessions too. That is the Hoosier Hardwood Festival, the Indiana Hardwood Festival going on the Boone County Fairgrounds. Number 9 at 239-1070 is going to be a winner. You got any chainsaws at Sullivan Hardware?
Yeah,
Garden,
we sure
Pat?
do. People love to steal them.
Do they really?
Yeah, I don't
Why
know
are they
why
stealing
people.
chainsaws?
I don't know. I mean, power
You have
tools.
Home Light?
No.
Do they still sell Home Light chainsaws?
You know, that's a great question. I
Remember
don't know.
Home Light was this big chainsaw
Yeah, they were.
deal.
Yeah. Steel kind of owns the gas market. We have Ego. We have all, we're forward thinking.
We're all going to be Ego one of these days.
We are going to be
Seriously.
Ego. It's all battery.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing. You know, you have battery cars, and these are they have the 52-inch zero-turn lawnmower that is battery.
Was the guy that stole the chainsaw wearing an old-school hockey mask?
When will we view, you think, when will we view, like, vehicles and such that run on gas? When will we view that as, like, an old locomotive?
Oh, I don't know.
Steam engine.
This got deep really quick here, John.
It did.
Yeah, it did.
I know.
It did. You know,
Well,
I
you
was
said Ego, and I was just kind of curious.
Well, you know, I was thinking shoplifters, and we had a shoplifter 2 nights ago, and he was old school. Because speaking of old school,
He stuffed in his pants?
Yes, he took this huge set of nut drivers of all things.
Yeah.
They're nut drivers
In his pants?
and he shoved it right down the front. And I thought, God bless him. Thank God somebody's just not like walking out going, "Hey, I'm taking this." But he shoved it down his pants, and you could tell it was a little uncomfortable.
Had a little wiggle.
Did you guys saw him easily, huh?
Yeah, he did it right in front of a camera.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I don't know why people don't see the cameras.
So do you have people watching?
No.
Let's give all the tips now that you can, John, to how to shoplift at Sullivan.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
I should say we monitor those cameras in a.
What would you say is the best time to go in there and maybe grab something?
Definitely between
When do the camera
7
watchers go out to lunch?
7 and 8 would be the prime time, Chris. Everyone's tired. You got high school kids on their phones. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just
7
what
to
kind
8.
of security system is in there after hours?
When's the best time to shove a bunch of nut drivers in your pants?
It's just, I couldn't believe it. It's like, dude, this guy is really actually shoving it in his
You
pants.
just gave him a round of applause as he tipping the cap as he walks out.
Motivation right
Yeah,
there.
he had his girlfriend with him. She had a backpack, and she was kind of loading that up.
Oh, my
What's
God.
up, Pat Sullivan, Sullivan Hardware and Garden, hashtag Ask Pat. We've got free Yeti for you. Get those questions in at JMV 1070, hashtag Ask Pat. Chris Hagen is also here. Saw Mark Sion and company a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
They dropped a big green egg off in my driveway today.
That was awesome.
It is looking awesome, and you guys have Egg Fest this weekend.
You know what? Egg Fest, I want to say that it's all our promotion and it's so much fun, but weather plays a lot into it, and the weather looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
We have pre-sold 850 tickets already.
Say what?
Yeah.
That's more
Bands.
than it's going to be at the Colts game tomorrow night, probably. I'm just joking.
Come on
it's just
now.
a joke.
I know.
800 plus, huh, for Egg Fest.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah, so that's just the pre-sale. So it'll be should be a record breaker, but it's got the bands start playing at 10 o'clock. The bands will play till 4 o'clock.
What bands are playing?
The Downstairs Dads and Boogie Nights.
I love Boogie Nights. That's good right there.
Yeah.
What's Downstairs Dads?
I don't know, and I'm not even sure I got their name right.
You know what you got out here at 7 o'clock tonight, right?
Was it the Basement Dads? Maybe it was the Hardwood Dads. I'm not sure.
Out here on the stage right after this show at 7, the Cornfield Mafia.
The Cornfield Mafia, is that like
Mafia? That's big, Southside big time.
You know, somebody gave me a bottle of whiskey. The Cornfield is that a Drew Storm thing?
Yeah, Field of Dreams.
Yeah,
what Drew
we got
has.
that from the Bob and Tom show. Actually,
that's what's going well for. You know what? Drew gave me a bottle of that. It was bottle number 3. And instead of keeping it forever, I just cracked that thing open and just chugged it. Yeah. And then I go, oh, man. He goes, that was like the 3rd ever bottle made. I go, okay.
Whose idea was that? Was that his father's idea, do you think?
No, I know for sure it wasn't.
Was it really?
No, because Mark, once upon a time, and if you don't know this, Drew Storm, the former Major League pitcher, has Field of Dreams, his whiskey, and it's made from the corn of the Field of Dreams from the movie in Iowa. His dad once upon a time told me the only thing he ever had drink-wise, he took a shot of beer when Ball State made it all the way to play UNLV, a shot of beer. And then one time he came up to me and goes, well, great. You used to talk about alcohol all the time, and now that's all Drew talks about is alcohol.
Well, that doesn't mean Mark couldn't come up with the idea. He didn't have to drink it.
He said it exactly like that. Now, the late, great Ron Sexton can do it much better than I just gave it justice for. But, he and I laughed, and I said, yeah, there you go, buddy. There you go. So, man, Drew's doing a great job with that, obviously.
How cool. That's really cool, though.
Yeah, but he gave me
great Christmas gift.
He came in and goes, hey, it's bottle number 3. And I didn't see it at the time. I didn't know it was bottle number 3, and I drank it, and then he told me.
That's like giving
they have a 3 on the back, and I went, dang it.
That's like getting a priceless stamp, and you put it on there to pay your power bill. You use it. There you go.
Take it off. All right,
so Benjamin Franklin.
What time does Egg Fest start?
10 o'clock. 10 until 4 tomorrow. It's going to be great, man.
That's a big deal. You got all sorts of meats, including seafood.
Yeah, man. You know what? The grillers are over there. They've been there all day today, so we open up the bar for them, and they're dry rubbing meat. There's everything you can imagine.
I can imagine
over there, and it's so there's 30. They're cooking on almost 70 eggs in 34 booths.
Wow!
And some of these guys have been there, 13 years. This is the 15th annual, so. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I like the competitive nature too. When I've been out there before, and we saw our friend Mike Wells out there. He was trying to show how well he can do.
Yeah. You know what? Wells has not. He has not spoken to me.
I wondered about that. He was just on right before.
I know. I heard him.
Yeah.
I heard him. He hadn't spoken to me.
He's lost 3 straight smoke-offs to me now.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what happens.
We sent money to his charity. A second place, of course. And I really thought it was his year. But I will say his smoking partner from one of our chefs kind of went out on an edge, and I thought
a little sweet
fell over the edge.
Sweet meat didn't make
quite
it.
honestly.
We went straight forward mesquite, baby.
There is a thing about rubbing your meat too much. And in that case,
as you all know,
it was just too much. It was.
And then Wells one time with Pam Humphrey from the Colts, they had a pie contest, and Wells lost that as well. So at least he's
pie eating contest.
No, they prepared pies, and Wells.
There's no ways Wells missing out on a pie eating contest.
Wells also a runner-up in that.
Yeah.
But I think that motivates him to continue
trying,
to keep trying.
He's just going to have to be a little more involved next year, I think, and keep his chef in line. The world famous Joey Chestnut. I was in Canada, and scrolling along the bottom of Canadian TV was Joey Chestnut breaks the Canadian record for eating donuts. The guy is everywhere.
He is everywhere.
Yep.
From Westfield, Indiana.
Indiana.
Does he dip those in water too? Does he?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Because I think I could. If you
I think you got to soften everything up like that.
There was a funny Adam Carolla one time. He said when you're having the hot dog eating contest, like every 5th hot dog should be a giant chili cheese hot dog. It'd be like the money ball when you're having the 3-point contest. It should count as 2.
Yeah, that's no doubt right there. Hashtag Ask Pat. Here's a question from Jason Ellis. Are you ready?
Yep.
A great horned owl has made my backyard his evening hunting ground. My wife is worried our 15-pound dog is at risk for attack when he goes outside to do his business. It is a beautiful animal, but anything I can do to move it along.
Wow. Generally to move certain animals
awesome, though.
Along, we actually will put out fake owls.
Yeah.
And some of them have heads that spin around like The Exorcist. I mean, they spin 360. But I'm not sure, would a great horned owl be afraid of another owl?
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure.
You may not have a sufficient answer for
that
owl.
one I might have to. I'm going to pass.
All right.
I'm going to pass.
Joe C. asked this, is the emerald ash borer still a thing? Hashtag Ask Pat.
It is definitely has moved on, and they're thinking that the ash trees that survive are in pretty good shape, but they're recommending that you still treat them. Just like you did during the height of the emerald ash borer. So I would, if your ash tree is still looking good, at this point, just keep treating it.
Hashtag Ask Pat from Mike Mooney. What's the best way to kill Japanese stilt grass? It's taking over areas of my yard.
You know what? I think that you could go online and look for a product called Tenacity. And it is one that's kind of a special one that kills nimblewill, kills annual bluegrass, and it kills a lot of weedy grasses that might just be on the list. Just look it up, Tenacity. It's made by Syngenta.
Where are we this time of year as far as things we need to be thinking about in our lawn?
You know what? I was stopped by one of your listeners right as I walked in, and he wants to get ready to seed his lawn. He said his lawn's full of weeds, and he knows that right now is the time he needs to start killing weeds so that by the third week of September, you can put down grass. If you wait too much longer than that, the grass may come up, but the freeze and thaw cycle kind of will probably kill the grass over the winter. So now is the time to start prepping. If you want to do some fall seeding, you want to start clearing your lawn of weeds and noxious grasses.
It's Pat Sullivan, Hardwood and Garden, hashtag Ask Pat. Are we in our final one of the summer here?
I think so, because we're going to take a 2-week cruise.
So you're going to the British Isles, right?
Yes, we are.
So we're going to Ireland.
Yep. I think we're going to stop in Belfast and Dublin. And,
nice.
When we're on a cruise, I don't really pay attention to where we're going.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out then. But I think Wales.
Nice. You're going to the Isle of Wight? No?
I'm not really sure.
That's where Level 42's from, Hagen.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. The Isle of Wight.
Look for the, when you're over there, look for the O'Hagans. That's my people, the O'Hagans.
My mother gave me some very good advice when we were in Ireland for the very first time. She said, don't look up the relatives. They may want money. So we kind of keep
true.
it. So I would think the O'Hagans could be just like that.
This is going to be a cold weather type of cruise, though, right?
You know what? It's 60s, 70s.
There'd be a lot of inside and a lot of eating.
You could have a wee bit soft day. It's a little bit of a mist.
Yeah. What do you do on your boat when it's misting outside and cold and wet?
Dude, you know what? I can my life is hectic. So
I agree.
look at your life.
It's hectic. I have high blood pressure.
It's like I found
that out today.
I heard that.
Yeah.
It's nice to have nothing scheduled. I find in this life.
Yeah. But they have lots of excursions. You take an excursion in the morning. So it's fun. Have you ever been on a cruise besides a booze cruise? This is not a booze cruise.
I've been to Alaska, and then I went on a cruise in the Caribbean to the Caymans.
The Caribbean,
Belize,
those are the booze cruises.
Cozumel.
Those are not, you might as well do that. You might as well not even leave the dock.
I love Belize. It was awesome.
So when Pat's gone, not only is it a good time to shoplift from the store, you could also break into his house. So thanks for that information.
And I actually I can watch the 65 cameras from my phone.
Okay,
Chris.
there we go.
Yeah.
Note to self, wear a mask.
Hey, buddy, we always love having you.
Thanks for look for the cameras. That's what I'm sorry, John. That's what I'm asking of shoplifters. Have the decency to look up and see where the camera is and shove it down your pants somewhere else.
Have a game plan, people.
Yeah.
Come on, people. Have a great vacation.
Thank you very much.
Great cruise. Thanks for the entire summer.
Yeah.
It's been
hey,
awesome.
it has been fun. Thanks very much for having me.
If you need anything else, let me know. Egg Fest tomorrow.
Tomorrow from 9 until 4. You can get tickets at sullivanhardware.com, or you can buy tickets at the door, but sometimes there is a line that forms.
And I will call you guys on the Home and Garden Show tomorrow
morning. That'd be great.
morning.
I expect at least to do a half hour.
9
Call at the right time.
1.
Don't call up against the, we're WIBC. We have hard outs.
I know.
It's not like this thing that you're on where it doesn't matter.
We're the Wild West around here.
Yeah.
We just go whenever we want to.
No, if we're at 57-50, we're out.
You're tight.
Doesn't matter who you are.
Pat Sullivan, everybody.
See you, John.
Thank you, Pat. Pat
Thanks.
Sullivan, Sullivan
See you,
Hardwood
Chris.
Garden.
Awesome,
Hashtag AskPat. Quick break. We'll come back 9. It's the first annual fan golf outing on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, boss. What's got you so down today?
We just lost another customer to Diamonds
Back Nine's our location on this Friday. Thank you all for joining us. Pat Sullivan at Sullivan Hardwood and Garden just with us, too. Now, you're wondering why we're here. It's our first annual fan golf outing to benefit the American Heart Association and, well, specifically the annual Heart Walk, which takes place Saturday, September the 16th at Victory Field. It's a free, family-friendly event that celebrates survivors of heart disease and stroke while raising money to help people live longer, healthier lives. More information is available at indyheartwalk.org today. I'm telling you, I found out something today, too. I didn't know that I had high blood pressure, and I had them test me while I was here, and I found out that I had high blood pressure. And, you know, these are numbers we all should know, and these are numbers that we normally put off, just like me, until you're kind of put in the situation. You recognize it, and then you get your ass up and you do something about it. So I'm going to do something about it right now, and hopefully you find some time as well to get involved in that. We want to thank our friends, too, at Franciscan Health Heart Center for being a part of this today. Just a great group, and all of our sponsors at this event. This is incredibly meaningful for all of us because we've all been touched by situations. And this is meaningful for all of us, especially for this particular event, and it has been absolutely fantastic. Again, the American Heart Association, specifically the annual Heart Walk, Saturday, September the 16th at Victory Field. It is absolutely free. Get involved today. And thanks to everybody that's been involved with us here at our first annual fan golf outing. Shout out to my man B. Neer and his brother who were here. Man, so many of the folks that not only listen to the show on a daily basis, but join me every single Saturday night for the JMV Takeover. Thank you. Bill Brooks of the Colts out here a little bit earlier today. Indy Fuels, I mentioned, out here earlier. I think my friends Rachel and the gang with QC Kinetics are going to get me on the road to feeling better from what I've heard a little bit earlier, too. So I'm excited about that. Just a lot of great fan folks here today. Listeners, advertisers, all for this great cause. My man Matt is out here, too. Thank you guys all for being here at the Back Nine. Quick break, my brother. Good to see you, too. We'll see you coming up here. We've got some Blue Fridays on the way. Be ready to go. Quick break. We'll come back. James Washington, wide receiver, signed by the Colts today. The latest on that front, Anthony Richardson played tomorrow night. We'll ask Mike Chappell about that and then some coming up on the other side. 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
It's called the preseason for a reason.
blast today. Back 9, our first ever fan golf outing to benefit American Heart Association. And remind you of the annual Heart Walk, which takes place Saturday, the 16th of September at Victory Field. Again, beneficial to the American Heart Association. And thank everybody out here today, including the Franciscan Health Heart Center. Tested me, high blood pressure. I know my number now. Let's do something about that, bud boy, and you should as well. And again, shout out to all the sponsors, all the listeners that made this event spectacular. There will be a number 2 because everybody had a great time earlier today. By the way, too, at the back 9 tonight, 7 o'clock, the band on the stage outside, Cornfield Mafia. Robert's in that band, Cornfield Mafia. Listener Robert is a part of that. That begins at 7 o'clock later on this evening. Meantime, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline from CBS 4 and Fox 59, Mike Chappell joins me and Chris Hagan of Fox 59. And I know we kind of struggled with your phone a little bit yesterday, but we do, I guess, have some worthy news, right? Because unfortunately, Ashton Doolin goes down for the season with, I believe, in that first matchup with the Bears that combined practice the other night with an ACL. James Washington, the veteran wide receiver, signed a little bit earlier today by the Colts, Mike.
Yeah, and so many times at this time of the camp, you're bringing in bodies who are just kind of camp bodies. This guy's got a resume where for 4 years in Pittsburgh, he was pretty good. Wasn't top of the charts Pro Bowl, but he, 40, 50 catches. So this is interesting. And he'll have a chance in that group to earn a roster spot. Coming in this late, he's certainly playing catch up. But losing Ashton Doolin, it's funny. I always kind of compared him to like Zach Pascal, to where, yeah, he's going to be your 4th or 5th guy, but before you know it, he's much more important. So they need to find another body. You really like Pittman and Pierce, and Josh Downs has been really, really good. Isaiah McKenzie, who that 5th guy is going to be, I don't know. Mike Strawn, you keep waiting for him, but he wasn't able to finish practice last night with a groin leg injury. So they're still trying to find the bottom of that receiver group, and this guy has done it before.
Hey, Chap, 40th year of Colts in Indianapolis, 40th year you're covering the Colts. You've seen it all. You saw all the hype when Peyton Manning comes in. Obviously, he's the unquestioned Week 1 starter. Same thing with Luck in 2012. And now, not the overall number 1 pick, but the 4th overall pick, Anthony Richardson. And there were still questions, will he be the guy? There was excitement. Some people saying maybe you go with Minshew. But now we're off and running. It's going to be Richardson for sure. But not obviously the same resume, not only as far as the numbers, but just the starts in general that Luck and Manning came into the league with.
Yeah, the hype's different, it seems like. I mean, everybody expected Manning and Luck to just sort of be the guy, even though, Peyton's rookie year, it took a while to kind of get going, the 3-13. But now what Richardson does is, boy, he gives you hope. He gives you a reason to believe in the future. I'm kind of glad they did it early like they did, because it gives everyone, okay, he's the guy. They can really tailor the offense around him. The receivers and the tight ends know who's going to be the guy. And really just kind of strap it up, because this is going to be a joyride. It's going to be up and down and roller coaster, and you just kind of hope that the bad times aren't really, really bad. And the good times are, again, they give you a glimpse of the future. Everything we saw in camp, I think, is what we expected. The big arm, really, really good when he runs the ball and tucks it and does the RPO. And then he throws some passes that you think, holy smokes, what was that? But I think that's what we're going to see. But, let the kid get in there and grow. And as long as he's not hurting himself or the team, you go with him and just sort of take what you can get.
Yeah, I think it's good, too, that he won't be wondering, looking over his shoulder, like, are they going to yank him and put Minshew in there? The good, the bad, and the ugly is what I've been saying. He'll have growing pains, and in some cases he'll have some throwing pains. My question is, Peyton has made light of the fact for years that he holds the rookie record, not just for the Colts, but for the league, with 28 interceptions. Now, there's 17 games now instead of 16. Do you think that's a number that Richardson will perhaps flirt with?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think they'll put him in a position all year to have the chance to throw 28. I just don't. I mean, they're going to let him play. They're going to do, they're going to tailor this offense around what he does, what his strengths are, the running and the big arm, putting the ball down the field. I just don't see him throwing the ball 45 times a game to where he's going to have a chance to throw 3 or 4 in a game. I just don't. But again, you're going to let him play, but I just don't know that they don't want to be that quarterback, reliant. That's why they've got to get this running game really going, which we won't know until the season starts how this is going to shake out. But I really don't think they're going to give him a chance to break that record.
Well, if he does throw picks, Chap, maybe they'll be when he chucks it 70 yards down the field, it's even better than a punt.
Yeah, I saw that clip, and I mean, we've seen the arm. I mean, he can throw it 70 yards, and what's crazy, it's with a flick of the wrist. That's what's crazy is how effortlessly he does that. But how often do you do that? I mean, not very. So,
with 5 seconds to go in the first half, yeah.
Right. But it's impressive to watch him throw, and I still think he needs to work. What will be a work in progress is the accuracy and the touch. He had a throw to Pierce the other night that was high and hard on a deep end. That Pierce sort of needs to catch that. But what we're going to see this year is the quarterback really testing receivers to make tough catches. Because what we've seen, that ball's not always going to be where it needs to be. But again, as long as he's not getting his head beaten in with pass protection or he's just making stupid plays, somebody asked Shane Steichen, now, is he your quarterback for the year? He said, he's our quarterback. So I don't know what it would take for him to be pulled. He would have to just look lost or whatever. But, again, strap it up because they're going to go with the young kid.
Again, it's Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59 with us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Chris brought up that point regarding interceptions and, talking about utilizing him on the ground. And that's great, right? And I know it's a completely different player, but it goes pretty quick, doesn't it, Mike, when you have a quarterback that can move and you utilize that to the best of your ability. In the case of Andrew Luck, that's exactly what he did in those moments early on in his career. That was his signature move, the extension of the play. And that's what they're going to be looking for regarding their quarterback situation now and Anthony Richardson. But when does that become a detriment? And that's why it would seem to me you would be so much more hardcore about making sure your running game's intact and making, no matter what you have to do regarding Jonathan Taylor here, we'll get into that in just a second, but to be where they are with that running game and wanting to rely on your quarterback to run it a lot and not throw it very much because you're worried about interceptions, that does not seem like the greatest of recipes to start a season. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, again, so much of what they want to do early is going to be run the ball, and that includes the quarterback. Well, the problem is, and what we've talked about, boy, can you imagine Richardson and Taylor running that RPO on the edge, and it's a threat both ways. Who's going to do it? Well, if I'm a defensive coordinator and I've got Zach Moss or Deion Jackson out there running the option like that, I'm not worried about the running back. I'm just going to say, go attack the quarterback. And that's why they really need to get this Jonathan Taylor thing resolved. And I don't know how they do it. I really don't. Both sides are really dug in. And until I don't know what the next step is. Is it for the team to say, we think you're healthy, we believe you're healthy, and he says, no, I'm not, and then where do you go? I just don't know. But to think that this running game will be okay without Jonathan Taylor, you're crazy. It's just not going to. What were they, 2.9 yards at Buffalo with the running back?
Yeah, right.
And I realize it's preseason, and they always average 2.9. But it's just not the same. You know, Taylor gives you that threat to go. If it's a 5-yard run, he may get to 30. So I don't know where this thing goes. They need to get it resolved. I would say in the next couple of weeks we need to have some movement because not before too long they've got a 53-man roster to put together. So I'm really curious how this is going to go, and I just don't see there has to be a compromise, and I don't know what that compromise is when both sides are so dug into their stance.
Mike, Greg Rakestraw and Rick Venturi in the booth, third quarter coming up tomorrow night. Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, will join them. And you know that Rick's going to ask this question. What is your anticipated answer from the normally very outspoken and very open Colts owner?
If I had to guess, he's not 100%, and we're not going to put him out there until he's 100%. And that to me, that's what it's going to be now. Now, whether Rick can get 2 or 3 follow-ups in about why isn't he 100%, I've asked 2 or 3 people in the organization, is he rehabbing that same injury from the surgery that normally takes 6 weeks to heal, and here we are 7 months? Did he aggravate it during his rehab? Did he do something else during his rehab? And, well, all you get is, it's an ankle. Well, yeah, I know it's an ankle, but it's really hard. I've never really questioned a player who's injured. You just can't because you don't know what's in their head or what they feel like. But when you throw the contract situation in the middle of this, you're just skeptical about everything. And then he was it 2 weeks ago when he left the team to rehab on his own. In all my years, I can't remember a player doing that. I mean, going off on his own and with his own people and doing his rehab. What does that say about what he thinks about your own medical staff, rehab staff? So I don't know. Again, it's not toxic yet, but it seems like we're close to that. And again, somehow it needs to be resolved. It'd be interesting to get the owner to have 3 or 4 follow-ups to say, well, but what is it? What are we dealing with and all this? Because in a couple of weeks, they've got to make a decision on his status on this roster.
Well, I can only speak for myself, Chap, but all of my dealings with him, with Jonathan in the locker room and at Colts events, he has been nothing but delightful, great to talk to, thoughtful answers. And so I wish we'd have the opportunity to hear from him. I don't know if maybe the Colts don't want to put him out there, or he said he doesn't want to talk. But even if he just reached out to you or just one person and got him on the record, like, hey, how do you feel? What hurts? Yeah. Why did you rehab? Because I think in talking to him in the past, he's always been great about being really forthcoming about things and giving thoughtful answers. So I would love to hear from him, but that's not the case right now. I'm curious your opinion on this. Who do you think, in the short term and the long term, who does this hurt more with him not playing, the Colts or him as an individual and a player in this league?
Him as an individual. I mean, the owner didn't put it really well, but he's right that the league will go on. There will be a game September 10th. The Colts will have a running back, whether it's JT or somebody else. And I just can't think of a lot of times where a player under contract withholding his services has worked out well for the player. Yeah. And again, he can't be active until he passes his physical. Let's go there. So, but you're right about JT. He had been really, really good to work with, and he's whatever it was on Thursdays we talked to him. And when we talked to him in April, go back to April when we talked to him, and it was, hey, I'd like an extension, but I love playing here, and I put pen to paper and I signed a 4-year contract. And since then, it's been totally different. I'm guessing that's when the team said, well, we're not going to give you an extension. And then he changed agents, and we've gotten this, line in the sand where, I want an extension, no. I want to trade, no. And then here we are. So he has taken a different stance, a grammatical different stance. And I think he deserves an extension. But it's at such an awkward time to where, number one, the running back market is awful. But locally, you got a team that was 4 wins last year, and he's not going to be your long-term running back. But 2 or 3 more years is what you want. but he's under contract, and by the way, he's coming off of an injury, and you just don't know until he's out there practicing. So all of that goes on. You just don't know where he is. You're right. I would love to have him talk. And this is not the team saying he can't talk. It's not. If he wanted to come over there during one of our media sessions and say, okay, what do you guys want to know? But I don't think that's going to happen because there's a lot of questions that he probably isn't ready to talk about. You know, what is this injury? What's going on here, and all that. And I don't know that it would help us. I don't think it serves him well to talk. But boy, when the player doesn't talk, you're kind of we're reading body language in practice, and then we're assuming what's going on when he's not here. And it's for him to talk would clear a lot of things up. But I don't think he's in position to do that right now. I really don't.
And I got 2 words for him when he wonders about the contract. And the 2 words, Marlon Mack. You know, that's how he became the starter. He was a second-round pick. You know, the whole first round passed on him. He's been great, no doubt about it, on the field. Probably, you know, they undervalued him in the draft. But Marlon Mack was the guy who's coming off a great season. He gets hurt, never the same, and that's what you're looking at now. He's coming back from an injury. You don't know what you have with him, and it's hard to go into the pocketbook, you know, even for a shorter extension and give him more money when we know how running backs are devalued and how that shelf life of even the greatest backs can be cut dramatically when they come back from an injury.
But that's why he wants an extension and more money because, you know, the lifespan is shorter. So he says, hey, give me my money now and I'll do it for you. But I just, you know, that's not going to happen. You know, could they give him more this year? You know, boost his contract this year? Probably. But then he might want, hey, but I'll do this, but you're not going to franchise me next year. And the team's not going to do that. The team's not going to give up its chance to franchise him next year if that's what they want to do. So it's such a unique situation. And each side, to me, neither side is wrong. And when neither side is wrong, it's really hard to find a compromise because, again, each side thinks they're really set in their ways and they're right.
So Mike Chappell with us. Mike, you're surprised. The reason why I bring this up is you had a couple of weeks ago the whole non-football related injury topic that was brought to your attention, and Stephen Holder of ESPN.com had it as well. Are you surprised that there has not been some sort of fundamental positive, according to the Taylor side, leak of information that hasn't popped here, other than, you know, his agent obviously going to social media and doing what he did? Are you surprised we haven't heard anything at all, at least leakage-wise, from the Taylor side of things?
Well, now they came out after Stephen and I reported about, you know, a possible back injury. He came out and said, you know, no back pain, no back injury. Yeah. But beyond that, we've got nothing. And I guess it would suit Taylor's purpose if he says, hey, I'm not healthy, and this is why. But then you need some details. Why aren't you healthy? Why is it at a surgery that normally it's a 6-week recovery? You know, and he even made it very clear. This hey, just cleaning out some stuff and all this. And here we are 7 months later, and he seems no closer to being back on the field. That's what's so strange. And when this happens, you start speculating what's going on, and you keep coming back to the contract. Let's say the Colts give him an extension tomorrow. You know, what he would play for. Then is he practicing the next day? So
will he feel better? Yeah.
Yeah. So again, something's got to happen. We're always concerned when the owner goes on TV because, and keep in mind, this is the Bears in town. To the next to the last preseason game, and gosh, what happened the last time that was the case?
4 years ago. Hey, Chap, the interesting part of the dynamic that you kind of touched upon is, you know, we've all had ailments, we've been sick, we've had broken bones, we've had hip replacements, whatever, and all a doctor can do is tell you structurally and based on what I know, you should be feeling okay. But if the patient or player is saying they don't, all you can go on is their word. So we don't know how he actually feels. And you're right. If he signed an extension tomorrow, he might say, hey, guess what? I feel 100%. So that's the one thing that only he knows exactly how he feels right now.
And that's why, again, like you say, it'd be really great to have him talk, and he can explain things. Hey, I'm PO'd because I wanted an extension. I'm PO'd because I wanted a trade. But here's where we are. I'm not practicing because I haven't passed a physical because, and we're not getting the because from him or from the team, other than what changed. I can say he's rehabbing, and when he's cleared to play, he'll practice. Well, again, the season's not going to wait, and when rosters are cut to 53, he's either active or he's on PUP for whatever it is, 8 games, whatever the rules are now, 8 games, which serves nobody any good. So in the next couple of weeks, there's got to be movement, and I have no idea what it is.
Hey, Mike, I know you said this a little bit earlier that you're not in the spot where you ever want to, judge or try to guess on whether or not a player is healthy. But let's just say, for example, we're kind of in this moment right now, and I've said the same thing. From what I had heard, that his excused absence is legitimate. On the other side of it, it seems to me like this is more of, situationally speaking, Mike, for him, is more of a hold-in than it is anything else, than it has to do with, injuries or being 100% or whatever. Would you side on that he is still in the process of coming back from some said injury, or that this is just a form of a hold-in?
Again, I guess I had to take him at his word, but boy, with everything going on, it seems like a hold-in. It just does. But I just can't go to where I'm questioning a player. I know what these guys go through. It just seems like that he had to have done something else to that ankle to where this isn't exactly what happened. And after the surgery, it just seems like that something else happened. Again, he could have tweaked it when he was rehabbing with the Colts. He's done a lot of rehab with the Colts when he was here. And, it's certainly realistic that something could have happened, but you don't know. So, and again, every time that he's away from the team or whatever, you just wonder what's going on. And again, I don't know how this ends. I don't know that Jim Irsay is going to advance the needle much Saturday. I wouldn't think he would inflame things very much. I mean, that serves nobody purpose. But what's crazy is when we talked to Jimmy in practice that day, well, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, but boy, we're really hoping that Jonathan Taylor is a big part of what we're doing this year. And that's where Jonathan Taylor is saying, well, that's fine. Then pay me like I should be paid, because he's grossly underpaid. He is. But that's the way the NFL works. It's business. And right now, the business side does not favor Jonathan Taylor, the running back.
Well, I know he's on a bunch of billboards and programs and commercials and
stadium.
He's a lot of places.
Yep.
He is if not the face, one of the faces of this franchise.
But I tell you, one thing we found on the murals on the stadium, they can change those pretty quick.
They can. They certainly can. Hey, Anthony Richardson take snaps tomorrow night?
You know what I would do? I saw Eberflus said his guys, Justin Fields is not. I would have Richardson come out of the tunnel, announce him, and have 3 very, very innocent snaps, and then sit him down. I wouldn't play him much, but I do think it'd be kind of cool to have him come out for the first time and be announced and be on the field to start the game and not even remotely put him in harm's way.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59 on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Always a pleasure, Mike. We'll see you coming up tomorrow night.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Mike Chappell on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. With that, you need to bail, correct?
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Chris Hagan, you can check him out Fox 59. You can check us out on 59 Sunday night.
Tomorrow night, 6:30, Fox 59, our Blue Zone pregame show, right up to kickoff on Fox 59.
Who's with you?
Me, Chris Widlick.
All right, the fighter.
Yeah, he's going to punch me in the nose because I brought that up. But, yeah, we'll be right there on the sidelines at 6:30 and take you up to kickoff.
Love it. All right, buddy. Good to see you, man.
All right, we'll be back.
See you tomorrow, too. Chris Hagan of Fox 59 right there. Quick break, and we shall return. The Hoosier Hardwood Festival is what I've been talking about. We've been giving away tickets. A little bit more insight on that, and also where we are as far as our first ever golf outing at Back 9. The fan golf outing at Back 9 continues on. We're back with you next. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Kevin Bowen for Window Nation. Feeling the heat?
There's Mellencamp coming back here. Number 9 at 239-1070. You can go see the Jim Irsay Collection Band. That is it September the 9th? Did I get that right there, James? September the 9th? Yeah.
I think it's the 8th.
Is it the 8th? My bad. September the 8th. Lucas Oil Stadium. A pair of tickets right now. You can go. John Mellencamp, Stephen Stills, and Wilson of Hart. Peter Wolf of Jay Giles Band, among other incredible musicians, all in one place. And, of course, the Jim Irsay Collection also there. September the 8th, Lucas Oil Stadium. 2 tickets, number 9, 239-1070. Right now. But joining us via the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, we've been giving away tickets to this all week long. Of course, talking about the Hoosier Hardwood Festival, Friday the 25th of August through Sunday the 27th, the Boone County Fairgrounds. Ray Moister joins us, the executive director of the Indiana Hardwood Lumbermen's Association, is with us now. Hey, Ray, thank you very much for the time, sir. How you doing?
Hey, happy Friday, John. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. I come from a rural area, and obviously I've used a chainsaw before. I don't know if I'm great at it by any stretch of the imagination, but you have a few folks among others that are really good at utilizing the chainsaw where you're going to be in Boone County coming up, right?
You're right, and not only that, but you kind of fit right in as a sycamore too. So you're right there, tracking right with the forestry folks here for the event. But yeah, there will be a lot of chainsaws there. It might rival the roar of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway a little bit.
That's pretty awesome. Where do you begin? Like, what is the most popular thing that you have seen in the past that people are just kind of drawn to over anything else as a part of your event?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that because it's not necessarily what we thought it might be when we started. We've got some of these lumberjacks that are incredible athletes in their own right, like the ones you see on the Steel Timber Sports competition. But what people love to come and see, and then they stampede to go get to, is the chainsaw carvers. We have 25 or so chainsaw carvers from all over the United States, and they're out there and they're working right in front of you. They're doing quick carves for auctions that benefit Boone County 4-H, and they're creating these masterpieces that you really just can't believe and appreciate until you see them.
The Hoosier Hardwood Festival will have that for you. Again, the 25th of August, the Friday through that Sunday, the 27th of August at the Boone County Fairgrounds. I did want to ask you this, and again, Ray Moister joins us, the executive director of the Indiana Hardwood Lumbermen's Association. Now, again, I come from a rural area. I come from the country. I don't know too much about the Indiana Hardwood Lumbermen's Association. Can you tell me more?
Yeah, let me explain to you and why we do this. Hardwoods are Indiana's largest agricultural industry, bigger than corn, soy, poultry, and pulp combined. There's 70,000 Hoosier jobs in our industry. 70,000 people work in the hardwood industry in Indiana, and most of that's in rural Indiana, where those economies rely quite heavily on the different kinds of hardwood manufacturing that takes place. So that's a really well-kept secret here, and we aim to correct that a little bit by getting out a lot of information and really just great family fun while you're learning about our industry and seeing some unique things that you'll never see anywhere else. And we do it on a great weekend where there's not a whole lot else to do that weekend. The baseball season's kind of winding down, but not quite at the climax yet. Football season's not quite here. So it's really a great weekend to come out and see something really unique that the whole family can do and love and very, very economically.
Hey, Ray, the one thing that stands out to me, because obviously we have a lot of people that where I grew up still do maintain, the warmth in the colder months of the season of the year by using, wood stoves. And, you will see them, cut trees to maintain that on their own properties. But what I have seen certainly over the past 20-plus years is when you take one down, at least where I'm from, when you take one down, that you immediately put one back in and grow it back up again. And that seems like that over the past, decades plus has become more of a big deal to those in the lumberman industry.
Well, thanks for bringing that up. Sustainable forestry is what you're talking about. And here in
exactly. I didn't have the term for it, but thank you very much, because I wanted to make sure everybody understood how far we've come since the days when that wasn't type of thing that we were talking about to now where that's the highest level of importance.
Yeah, and when the Europeans settled Indiana back in the day, a lot of the forests, the state was almost completely covered in forests, and a lot of those forests were cleared for farming and homes and just land to live on and to farm on. And so right around the turn of the century, the state and the DNR developed the state forest system, and gradually over time we've increased forest acreage gradually over the last 100+ years to where now 1/5 of Indiana's land base is covered in forests, and it's just so important to our economy and to our recreational users and so many other great things forest does. And now it takes on even more importance because people realize that you need forests and healthy forests for storing carbon, and people realize that planting trees and growing new trees and cutting down the old dying ones is actually better for the environment than to let the old decaying trees rot and die and put carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. So that's a little scientific for our sports show, but it's just very, very important that we have so many people that care about forestry.
You know what, Ray? You're talking to somebody that didn't know the term because he's just simply not that bright. But growing up where I did, I had seen the evolution because I remember the days that it used to be. And I know the way that it is now, and I know how incredibly important it is to see, if you take something away at the same time, you make sure you put something back. That now more than ever has become incredibly important from at least the general area in which I grew up.
Well, John, you don't have to do anything other than just visit southern Indiana in the fall to see the spectacle of what beautiful hardwoods do, and all around you. I know you're from Greene County, but all around you in Greene County and Owen County and Orange County, you just name it, Sullivan County, the hardwood industry is so important down there. Du Bois County used to be called the nation's wood capital. And so there's a lot of people down that grew up where you did that really know and understand the value of taking care of these forests. And 90% of Indiana's forests are privately owned by, families that own an average of 35 or 40 acres of forest land. So it's important to families for a lot of reasons. It's their recreation. It's their solitude. Sometimes it's their college tuition money when it's time for a harvest.
Yep.
So
right.
It means a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. My mom lives on 40 acres in Greene County, right outside the town of Owensburg, which butts right up next to the Crane base. And it's 40 acres of nothing but trees. Now it's 38 acres of which, she hasn't seen in about 40 years, but being 77 years old. Sure. But it is 40 acres of nothing but trees. And I think among the things that she's proud of in living there since 1973, that is at the top of the list.
John, Indiana white oak is coveted all over the world for its quality, its uniqueness. It's something about the climate and the soils here in Indiana that make their white oak from Indiana the best anywhere in the world. And that's why all the bourbon companies want to get their white oak here for their barrels and you name it. But there's that area down there, and Crane Naval Base, you brought that up, is so important because they have their own forester on that base, and some of that white oak is among the most beautiful in the state. When they rebuilt the U.S. Constitution maybe a dozen years or so ago, they came back to Crane Naval Base to match the exact white oak that was used on the original USS Constitution. So it's really a neat story, and there was a lot of publicity and top secrecy that was going on when all that was happening.
No, and from my background, Ray, I think what you do is really cool. I mean, I do. And, again, I don't know enough to know the terms, but I just know how meaningful, because it's not always – you got to make sure for it to be meaningful and then plentiful, you got to make sure you maintain that. And it's always been really cool how the evolution of that has transpired, certainly over the years. The Hoosier Hardwood Festival, again, the 25th of August through the 27th of August. That's Friday through Sunday, coming up here in a couple of weeks. Ray Moisner is the executive director of the Indiana Hardwood Lumbermen's Association, kind enough to join us. How can people get tickets, Ray?
They can go online to HoosierHardwoodFestival.com. This is one of the best family weekends you can have and not spend a Taylor Swift-like fortune. Ticket prices are $10 for adults, but if you go online, you can get them $2 off coupons, so they're basically $8 for adults, $5 for kids ages 7 to 12, and if you're 6 and under, you can come for free. And our biggest fans are the kids because there's so much for them to do there. There's a lumberjack camp for the kids where they can get out there and roll on the logs and, throw the hatchets and cut all, very safe and, well looked after. There's a kid zone. There's a petting zoo. Kids just absolutely love it. They can get on Woods on Wheels. And this year we've got Twiggy the water skiing squirrel coming.
Nice.
Sponsor. So, it's just a lot of fun. It's unique.
It is.
The families have a blast when they come out, and it's just a good time. Live music, food, you name it.
Hey, Ray, I'm really happy with what you do, too, because, I mean, you uphold a tradition that certainly, when I grew up, it was a major part of what we did and how, we moved around and how we live from day to day. And it's really cool in what you do. And I also, when I first had a gig out of college, it wasn't doing this. I worked at a tire shop, and you're talking about that big equipment you're also going to have there at the Hoosier Hardwood Festival. I had to get inside one of those tires to change one of those tires once. That is no fun whatsoever, let me tell you. When you have to get inside a tire to actually change it, get it off, and then put it back on, there is zero fun about that.
There are tires out there on some of that stuff that are twice as tall as I am. It's amazing how big some of that equipment is, and it's really cool. I want to be real clear about something. You don't want me anywhere near a chainsaw. I just represent the organization that represents these great people that do this for a living every day. And in some cases, it can be dirty, dangerous work, but it's the only occupation that's depicted on the state seal of Indiana because it's as old as the state is. A lot of proud, humble people that just work their tail ends off and don't need a lot of recognition for it. But some of the greatest people in the world are in the hardwood industry out there in rural Indiana, John.
Well, you represent them. Thus, that's a big deal, buddy. It is. I mean, and again, I know what I'm talking about coming from where I come from and how important that is. So your representation out there is big for so many people. Hey, have a great time at the Hoosier Hardwood Festival, Boone County Fairgrounds, and again, the 25th through the 27th, and you can get your tickets at HoosierHardwoodFestival.com. Also, more info right there. Ray Moisner with us, the Executive Director of the Indiana Hardwood Lumbermen's Association, on the show. We've been giving away tickets all week long, too. Ray, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you and chat with you, man. It really is.
John, thank you so much, and it was a privilege on my end to talk with you, and thanks so much for talking about the festival.
You got it. Thank you, Ray Moisner, the Executive Director of the Indiana Hardwood Lumbermen's Association. I'm serious, where I grew up, that was such a big deal. Such a big, and really still is a big deal. But I'd kind of seen the evolution, and it strikes home to me because where I grew up and my mom still is, I mean, she's got nothing but trees. 40 acres of nothing. Think about that for a moment. Nothing but trees for 40 acres. It's pretty incredible when you get to that portion of the state and see how meaningful that is. Ray, thank you very much. That's going to be a really good time over at the Boone County Fairgrounds, the 25th through the 27th. All right, quick break, and we'll come back to. Speaking of fantastic events, this has been another here with the station, and very meaningful. I'll explain that on the other side. We've had a great day at the Back Nine. Shout out to my guy, Danny Hayes, and the gang here at Back Nine for having us, all the listeners, all our sponsors, for such an incredible cause. I'll come back, lay the groundwork for you for that, and get you set for a little Colts happy hour. James Washington, signed by the Colts at wide receiver, the 27-year-old wide receiver, a little bit earlier today. And we've been in on that. Colts and Bears coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, the Colts pregame huddle begins with me and all my friends down in Touchdown Town. Come by and see us. We're officially underway at 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon in Touchdown Town. Me, Gorman. You also obviously can check out, I believe Bill Brooks will be there with us, maybe even Joe Wright's up in the booth. But it's going to be an outstanding time that is coming up tomorrow at 4 p.m., the Colts pregame huddle. And by the way, the JMV takeover, 7 p.m. until midnight tomorrow night, B105.7, Yacht Rock. All Yacht Rock requests coming up on the JMV takeover tomorrow night beginning at 7 p.m. It'll take me a little bit to walk from Touchdown Town back to the station. 7 p.m. tomorrow night with all of your great Yacht Rock requests the JMV Takeover tomorrow night on B105.7. Back with you for a final time next.
Get in zone, AutoZone. AutoZone is more than a parts store. It's where we help you solve problems like, sorry I'm late, my battery died. And
I need a jump again.
At America's #1 battery destination, you can find the right battery at the right price with options starting at only $89.99. And we offer free battery testing and charging whenever you need it. Get the parts and help you need to get the job done right at AutoZone. Get in zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Sundown Gardens is gearing up for the fall season. Shop the nursery to schedule fall planting and Miss Mary's gift for fall decor. Sundown Gardens, 186th and Spring Mill Road, sundowngardens.com.
Puccini's 707 locations. Puccini's Pizza Pasta.com. Puccini's 707 locations. Puccini's Pizza Pasta.com.
Founded right here in Indianapolis in 1991 and winner of the World Pizza Championships in Parma, Italy.
Puccini's 707 locations. Puccini's Pizza Pasta.com.
The following is presented by the Indiana Standard Bred Breed Development Program. From Harris Hoosier Park Racing and Casino, it's time for the hardest.
All right, your Harris Hoosier Park race of the day winner, Tyler Lakes. The winning horse, Jerry Sue, paid $8 on a $2 bet. The $2 exacta went off at $127.40. The 50-cent trifecta, $115.05. That is your Harris Hoosier Park race of the day. Live standardbred racing through December the 8th. Keep tuning in right here every week to be a part of and win 50-50 in betting and dining, as we do the Harris Hoosier Park race of the day right here on the Fan. Good win to close out the week today. What a great time this has been, too. And again, I want to give a special shout out to everybody that's been with us today, too. Again, all the listeners, all the sponsors, and this has been a fantastic time. Again, this is the first ever fan golf outing here at Back 9 to benefit American Heart Association. That's the beneficiary in this case, the American Heart Association. And we wanted to, again, tell you that the annual Heart Walk that takes place Saturday, September the 16th at Victory Field. It is free, family-friendly, celebrates survivors of heart disease and stroke while raising money to help people live longer, healthier lives. More information available. That's indyheartwalk.org, indyheartwalk.org. And thanks to the American Heart Association. Thanks to our friends, too. Shout out to them because they ran a check on me on my blood pressure, and I have high blood pressure. Thank you, Franciscan Health Heart Center, for doing that. In fact, they're going to check back with me on Tuesday and get going. I got to hang around here until like I'm 125. Can you imagine me doing the JMV takeover at 125? Going to make sure I'm around here with you all. But thanks to my good friends at the Franciscan Health Heart Center for finding that out today. And again, that's a great reminder. Let's go out there and make sure you get your numbers checked. Because I was kind of half-assing a little bit. Oh, yeah, I'm just fine. I play basketball all the time. I'm good, right? I don't go overboard with stuff. Oh. Find that out. Understand it, move forward with it. And this has been a great event today. Thanks for the people at the Back 9, too, have been outstanding. Danny Hayes, shout out to you, and certainly the staff here. All right, on the other side, James Washington, wide receiver, veteran, signed by the Colts earlier today. Will Anthony Richardson see snaps coming up tomorrow, preseason game 2 against the Bears. 4 p.m., the Colts pregame huddle. Me, the Gorman, Bill Brooks, and more coming at you from Touchdown Town tomorrow. But first, how about a little Colts happy hour? An hour before we start officially the high school football season. Talk a little bit more about that coming up on the show. And on the other side, Colts happy hour. All you need to know to get you ready. And a shout out to my man J-Law celebrating a birthday today too. J-Law, happy birthday. Straight at you. It is Colts happy hour. Other side, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Sit tight.
93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.